Let's go, chat. Let's go. Mic is working right? Okay. This isn't muted, right? It's not. Okay, it's just the broadcast. It's not me. I promise, it's not me. All right. We got ourselves 2.5 minutes on the dot before we hop into this Thieves match to start off their tournament. As you can see from the bottom of the screen, the Thieves are taking on the Boston Breach. Yes, sir, Gold. Yes, sir. We're here. We're here. At least while we can be. I'll turn it up because I know the broadcast has been really quiet. Let's go, Frost. Good to see you as well in the chat. We are ready for some Thieves Call of Duty, baby. I'm itching for this series to get going, man. I mean, Champs is always great. Hoping we have a bang out of a tournament, not just for like the Thieves matches. Obviously, I want the Thieves to win, and I want the matches to be really entertaining. But I mean, if we can get an entire tournament that's just full of good matches, I'll be more than happy about that. Yeah, Gold, I did get the member stuff situated. I had to kind of just like wait for a month basically because I tried to change certain information and it wouldn't let me do that. So I had to literally just wait until it got kind of like, I don't know. It said that I had to wait like 30 days before I could attempt to get it set up again. But once I waited and I changed a couple settings, we should be all good now. So the membership stuff is back and we got the new membership icons as well. Hey, good to see you in chat, Isabel. We're stoked for this one. Yeah, for anybody who is in the chat and is unaware, if you become a member, you get an icon next to your name, similar to what Gold
Ladies and gentlemen,
Isabel
we are
has.
back in Ontario, Canada. This is Championship Week in 2025.
Continue
We're here for Call of Duty Black
make better
Ops 6,
content
and you are
things
about
like
to
that.
see the best team on the planet.
You get early
After
access
the regular
to
season
videos
at 4
well.
majors, LA Thieves
so that's a plus
stolen
side.
the #1 seed from Atlanta FaZe.
You know,
they are our reigning
me a lot,
champions
and I
in the
appreciate
favorite
anybody who does
here
it.
at Champs,
Obviously, it's not
taking
necessary,
on Boston Breach. Let's start with the Thieves, Maven,
I definitely
because
appreciate
we
it.
knew as soon as Nate Shot made the announcement that he was
Gold,
building
I have
a
the
super
game
team,
up on
this is going to be a
on my
squad to watch.
TV. On the
Yeah,
left
no,
here.
I thought right away this team had the highest ceiling. We just talk about their
didn't
capability.
realize
They
that
were
they
in form.
played-
They would
they
be the
started
best,
playing
and
earlier
they
than
seem to
what
be
I
hitting
thought they
that.
did.
It felt like just getting over the
So I
hump, getting
was,
that
like,
one win. They
waiting
were
to
just going
turn
to
the
get
game
even
on at
better.
around,
Now they're
like,
going from
1
back to
o'clock
back
my
to back.
time.
It's been awesome to watch.
And then I looked on
some of
Twitter
their
and I
numbers
saw
are
absurd.
something
Yeah,
about
Hey
showed up
guys, like,
pitching
we're
already.
talking
and I was
Respawn
like,
specifically
hell?
on the
Like, I
season.
thought they didn't play until
91
later.
and 33. That is
So I
just
looked at the
absolutely
score app,
bonkers. I mean, you got
and I
two players that
saw
are on the
that
first team
they were already in the
All-Stars.
sixth
Everybody
inning or
can take
whatever, and I
over
was
at
like,
any
dude,
given
are we
moment,
serious?
and they're
I
coming off
missed
of
out
back-to-back championships.
all top
like,
6 innings
this
for the
team
first
is
6
truly
innings.
special. Excited to get to see, you
I
know,
saw
if they've gotten
PCA
even
just
better
made a
over the
nice
last
catch,
couple
though.
weeks.
And the worst part of it is, like, they're disgusting at Respawn. They have the deepest map pool in the entire of the league. So you can take them on any map. It's not great. But specifically, you go to Control, dude. They have, like, combined, like, 9 losses across all maps. That is disgusting.
It feels like we're at the point where like they're their
Shoulda
own
looks
worst enemy.
good.
Like,
That's
the only thing
good.
that can beat them is them.
That's
like,
good.
If they come
We
out
love to
flat,
hear
like they
that.
have a couple of times, we're worried, but they're playing their game, bro.
Chris, you know who's been a nightmare matchup for them?
Boston?
Yeah.
Well, we
We'll
talked
see.
with
We need Shota
Sender
back, 'cause
about this matchup.
Our
on his
starting
backstage,
pitching is
but you
kind
have
of
to say
like
why.
dropping off a little bit, I feel like.
Coach Sender,
Whoa,
back-to-back
Lottie's back?
chips for you guys and the
Yo.
team. Incredible stuff, but you're coming into champs. How are you keeping the boys motivated for the
Lottie.
big one of the season?
Obviously, none of us have really been in a position like this before.
Yeah, no Thursday.
Honestly,
Thieves
just
here.
working super hard. You know, it's before the first match, so I feel like we haven't really settled in yet. But I think the second the match comes around and we get the vetoes done, I feel like it's going to really wake us up and lock us in for the rest of the tournament.
Love to hear it. Now, talking about vetoes, obviously a lot of strategy behind what you guys have to do here. And speaking of strategy, I've heard you're quite the nerd, in a good way. You know, when it comes especially down to S&D, and it's been a big difference maker for the boys. So have you cooked up anything different? I'm not expecting you to tell me what, but has something been going on where you're bringing something new to chat?
Actually, like, really good.
I mean, we'll see. Obviously, it's like one of those things where you don't really game plan around it, but it's all situational. As long as we're focused on adapting and just being on the fly and just pulling out all the bag of tricks that we have, you know, I feel very confident going into every search that we play. So.
A big part of that obviously was Envoy back in Major 4. He was absolutely phenomenal. 1.10 finish on the Major 4, 39 bomb plants, incredible stuff. But he was also just incredibly clutch as well. As a coach, how do you lean on a player like that in those big moments, but also alleviate pressure so it doesn't become too much?
Honestly, I just try to make my players feel like as good as possible going into the match. I feel like that's my ultimate goal as a coach. I try to take as much pressure on me and just relieve it off them so they can go into it just free-flowing. Any single time I tell them to do something and it doesn't work, honestly, I'm the first one to hold myself accountable and just be like, guys, it's on me, don't worry about it. Just trying to keep them locked in as much as possible. So.
I love it. Send a huge support system around them. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
But I don't know.
Sender, part of that coaching camp that won the ring for subliners, now over at LA Thieves, feeling confident. On the other side of this matchup, Boston Breach have the lowest seed in the tournament. They're coming in with the 8th spot. The bad news?
Your comedy gold.
You're looking really rough at Major 4, but you have taken down LA Thieves in the past, so let's focus on that.
Okay.
What can Boston do after missing out on champs last year?
All
How
I'm
could
saying
they play spoiler in 2025?
Yeah, you know, you're finally here, right?
The
you're
last
in a
time
position where you can do something special. You've beaten these guys
they
on
played
land
Boston,
before. They played once on land,
1.
and they beat them in both of the hard points. Where you look at this matchup on the year, 2-2. Snoopy and Big Wake have played exceptionally well.
The Thieves are able to get this win here,
putting down damage. Snoopy in the kill department, lighting it up with like a 1.07 KD. So they feel confident in this matchup. The problem is what you started out with there, Chris. Their game is trending down.
Yeah, and they're kind of like they play up and down to their competition sometimes, and that's why you find that they're kind of in the middle of the pack, but you can't necessarily count them out because of some of the talent on this roster. If you get Snoopy going, or say Cammy, like the last time they went up versus LA Thieves has a good match, they could still win the same wins.
Yeah, I think
I'm looking at this matchup and I see experience from LA Thieves. You have Envoy, who has been to champs 6 times. This is his 7th. On the other side, Purge is in his first ever champs.
I agree with Octane. I think that guy because
he can be an X factor for the squad, Maven.
No, he's the guy's going to make the right decisions. He's going to be entry when he's playing
basically
well.
Every team has on their path to a champs ring.
I don't know. He's instructing he's supposed to be super phased by this. Like, this is a guy that literally had the worst KD in the league.
This series should be a little more convincing for the Thieves.
But yeah, some pressure.
But I think going in and playing against the Heretics,
you know, there were times where the AR duo,
as long as we win today,
split wasn't playing well, and it was Purge getting them through a lot of the maps that they were able to take. You know, I look at this Boston team, and we talk about why they played LA so well.
Because I felt like when the
Thieves like to play, Boston are comfortable.
You look at the Heretics
right there and take a look at our maps and losers.
After that,
do we have an advantage if I'm a Boston fan? Do I have one?
That was such a big moment for them.
You can't really call it an advantage, but
you can't call it an advantage, but there are some maps that you like. I mean, how many times have you seen Hacienda Purge making massive plays on their side of the map? And then you look at the rewind, 3-1 on rewind. If you're Boston, it's just a lot of maps that they really enjoy. LA are comfortable allowing into the series.
Listen, if you look at the layout, you look outside of LA, I mean, they have abundant, like, double positive records on every one of these maps. On the flip side for Boston, 1, 2, and 4 are going to be the ones they're focused in on. And even if they do force that game 5, it's not that bad because it's one of the worst search and destroys for LA Thieves, and they haven't been that strong in that distance in some of these series. So for Boston, there is some light at the end of the tunnel looking at this layout.
I mean,
I was trying to make sure it wasn't too quiet because I know people in other watch parties were saying that
the fact is, if you're going to beat them, you need
it's kind of quiet. I can also move my mic closer to me.
Can you catch them coming out flat?
That's part of the problem too. Sometimes
we've seen it on land.
I have the mic too far away.
Situation round 1, it has happened before.
It has happened before, and I know a lot of people's pick'ems are already
rewind,
fried. I'm 1 for 1. I'm
is
about
good
to
for
be 2
I think
for
the,
2. I'm going
the back
LA
half
Thieves
of this
in 3.
series
3 is crazy.
Is comfortable for us.
Thieves, yeah, 3-4.
Yeah, you gotta go LA
But
Thieves.
I also think the front half of it is pretty good for us too. So
When we all go one way, chaos tends to follow.
Okay.
Find out. Can Boston play spoiler? It is match 2, winners bracket round 1. We got Guy Blaze on the stage.
Yeah, I'm ready to keep this.
I feel weird
going.
sometimes because like
Ontario, make
I don't
some
want the
noise
mic
here
to
because
be
we're about to
basically
hop
like
into our
in my
second
mouth.
matchup of the day. And the next squad
And
coming to the
sometimes it
stage
feels like
does
it's
not
that
care about
close.
any firewall you got up. They're gonna break through whatever. Here comes the Boston Breach.
I'm gonna mute this though, just in case. Just in case. Is this another new one? Oh, this one, they probably have this one for EWC. That's my guess. Their last one I thought was pretty cool. But this one must be for Champs EWC with all the gold and stuff. Yeah, this one's not bad. I'm sure it's even better with sound, but but yeah, this definitely gives like EWC vibes. It's cool to see Boston change the intro every major almost. Yeah, it's definitely like nice to see people have new intros every now and then. I wonder if the Thieves have a new intro as well for this tournament. I haven't seen them say anything about it, so I don't know. But
that matters is what they do on land, and they have taken down their opponents before on this stage. But can they do it again? Make some noise for the Boston
I agree,
Breach.
Isabel. I think more teams should do that. But I also understand why they don't.
Don't get many opportunities to place well at Champs. Trust me, I know. And I'm looking at this roster.
I know, Gold. That's why I'm wondering like if they'll actually do one.
Last time they were the underdog as well, and we saw what Snoopy was able to do, a superstar on that stage.
To be fair, though, like
LA Thieves.
Double A is the guy who does
across the board.
The intros
gonna
and
have
stuff,
to have that same
and he's been
performance,
working
guy.
on like
Time
0
to bring out the champs, though.
Like nonstop.
I agree with you. They're gonna have to have that exact same.
There's only so much they can do
They
with what they have.
But
you know?
since then, the LA Thieves have been popping off. Everybody get ready because here comes your
can't let
current
Boston have hope, and we need to win
defending
map 1.
champions.
I agree. I think I don't think map 1 is necessary, but I definitely think for momentum wise it would be good to have. The 0 to 100s have been really good. That's why I give Double A credit, because he's been grinding that shit out after every tournament, and they've been really, really good. I like that they're long too. I love the long documentary style videos. I think those are like needed in the COD scene. Yes, sir, Frost. Yes, sir. Yeah, Gold. Josh does all the socials, and then Double A does all the.
We take everything,
like the YouTube and all that.
Ready to take it all. Here comes the LA Thieves.
Let's go, chat.
Hydra, Envoy, and
hey, we have 2 first
the
team
LA
players of the year,
Thieves
baby.
have shown us the last 2 events. They are not anyone
Yo,
to play
Romano,
with.
good to see
They
you.
want to run it up. They want it all. The LA
I'll be
Thieves
watching
are
from
ready
the
to
far,
play.
so can't chat. But
I mean,
I'll be
these
cheering
are
on
your
for Thieves. Okay, well,
back-to-back
maybe
event
just
winners
listen.
taking the stage right now.
Don't
A lot
watch
of heart
while you're
and
driving.
a lot
That might
of
not be
fight
the
for
best
the
idea.
LA Thieves, but we've seen
Unless
them
you
in
have
this
like a
spot
Tesla
before,
that does
and
the
if they do
self-driving.
anything, it's learn from
Just
their
make sure you're driving
mistakes.
safe. But I
cannot wait
appreciate
to
you
get this
throwing on
match
the
started,
stream.
guy.
I'm ready to get it started. Are you guys at home ready to get it started?
Hey, what's good,
Are you
Bernsey?
guys in the venue ready to go?
We getting ready for this match, baby. Let's
Chance,
go.
Miles, let's roll. Shift and study, let's go.
Okay.
Whoever
we go. We got
Let's
map 1
get this
coming
thing
up.
going, and why
Vault
not?
hard
Hey,
point.
number 1 seed coming in
I mean, the
back-to-back
Thieves,
winners. The
this map,
odds are obviously very much so
Vault
stacked
hard
in
point,
favor of
I feel
LA,
like
but
was
there
the
has been a
map
bit of a
that the Thieves
curse
kinda, like,
around
turned
number 1
around
seeds at
their
major
play
events this
last
year, and
tournament,
Boston has been the byproduct of upsets in the
I'm
past.
hoping to see a
LA Thieves
banger
have
of
been that number
a
1
map
seed.
here.
Sometimes that had been upsetted by this roster on the opposing
WComs
end.
Gold.
Boston just can't
Please like
afford
the
a slow
stream,
start.
chat.
That's hit on it perfectly.
WComs
With the
from
form that
Gold.
LA Thieves are currently in, they basically
pushes
lock
it
down
out to
search and
other
destroy.
Thieves
They've been the
fans
best
like
control
us.
team all season long, but when you make them uncomfortable, that's by taking map number
Not
1.
driving
so
parked
Boston,
right now?
they have
Okay,
a lot
good.
on their
Good,
hands
Romano.
with this map
Good.
number 1 on Vault, but this
We
is
need
their
you to
best
be
chance
safe.
of taking map.
We need
Yeah,
you
I
to
mean,
be
I
safe.
think Elliot said that's on the desk really nicely. It's just whenever you look at a series layout against LA, especially as a team that's in the kind of middle of the pack, it's not going to look all that great in terms of map record, because simply put, Thieves have been so consistent across a variety of maps. Maybe some vulnerabilities in Search and Destroy at certain points in the year, but
got
that
that facial hair again
a lot in the last couple of majors. And now
dude,
just coming in and seeing how prepped up could Boston be with a month essentially worth of getting ready for this matchup. What do you have up your sleeves?
I don't get it to grow on this side.
Yeah, I was able to have a conversation yesterday with Purge. Me and him have a great connection.
Grows like all the way in. This side almost fully connects.
What he's thinking going into tournaments.
But the left side is like
versus matchup versus Thieves, obviously everyone is counting us out.
Yeah.
And sometimes that might play into the team that's the underdog's favor, because no one expects
maybe
you to win.
If this
you just
is the
go out there and
move,
play your game. But he told me
if every time
so far in his last 3 to 4 weeks was hard point. If they can lock down their HPs, they feel like they're decent enough in Search and Destroy and competitive enough in Control to stack with any roster.
Then the other part about this is the AR matchup. Kenny has not done well against the Thieves in the past.
3 times.
Has feasted. So that could be another kind of minuscule.
Here we go. Boys are looking to run Vault Hardpoint map 1, baby.
Sort of a major upset here early.
Get us up
on day 1 of World Champs. Let's get things going. We got LA, we got Boston, and a lot of also pressure, I think, just riding on to Snoopy. Can he keep up? Can he keep the pace in favor of Boston, especially in the respawn?
Here we go.
1.14 KD versus the best hard points.
Here we go.
You got to keep that very consistent, because like you said, Cammy has had a tough time going up against LA.
Right now too. We love
on
that.
the opposing end, a 0.7 in this matchup.
All right.
You need to turn
map
it around.
1 is underway.
At LA Thieves are back-to-back champions. Trying to make it a third one to start with their
first
first
man. I mean,
3
weeks is a good amount of time.
Already kicking things off, trying to play aggressively through square. Turned away immediately, but it will be Envoy.
Nice.
Ghosty will get it done.
Envoy's bringing the energy early, baby.
From those boys in LA are in the hard point early.
In the hard point early, and also in control of the spawns that they want.
Dill's calling deads.
Both ARs locking down
within
the lanes
the first 30 seconds of the map.
Through the middle of the map. They're finding the trades 2v2, making it 3v2. Last man standing away.
And starting off with
another clean 4-0
start,
still in control.
Yeah, polished gameplay coming out here from LA off this opening break-off. They don't really get the aggression they wanted on the Hydra, but the lockdown around the hard point is perfect. Now Hydra with an AR in hand, trying to
get damage if the Thieves hard point
Boston. Get some damage
improved even just a little from last tournament, and their S&D stayed stacked. This team is going to be really, really hard to beat this weekend.
Yeah, they have a little bit of mid-map control to make their rotation.
Their hard point was kind of struggling the last tournament, and they still looked like the best team there. So obviously they won, they were the best team, but like even just watching, they looked like the best team. It looked like nobody was going to be able to beat them.
Proximal spawns. Purge able to find the first blood and get to work on a route, trying to cut off this enforcement hit over the top, but he gets shut down. Now spawns will start to move around a touch.
Yeah, no gunships and we win. No gunships and we win.
Hydra able to find one, make that a second, and that'll be LA now in from the back. Still having to fight against a close Boston and through pool.
Yeah, that's beautiful pressure there from Hydra to attack through the front side at Truck, find an opening double, even though his teammates don't want the spawn towards the back end. Okay. Still making this scrappy to close this one out. Hydra now on 5 in a row. Yeah, let's just go for the ego chow. You already know that you're filling yourself, but more focus on soaking up this final 15 seconds, giving himself a little bit more of a comfortable lead.
Being annoying as hell on the point, dude. That's insane.
About this matchup, good to keep your eye on here for the hard points. Is
would have bridged that movement and died.
LA has been one of the best teams through Major 4 and DreamHack at rotating early, and
they
start
from Hydra 9-4. Envoy right behind him at 8-5. So our subs are putting in work right now. Scrap is a little slow start, 2-7.
Envoy trying to find the
not something you typically see from him, but
start to stabilize LA on the left side of the map while Boston are in the
we have spawns for next as well.
Play for the time and keep them away from it. Potentially trying to flip these spawns on its head. There's only 40 seconds still to fight for here. Scrap off to a slow start at 2-8, but the same thing could be said for Cammy on the opposing edge. Boston, though, so far, are managing a lot of time here at
Dan and Dill are frying. Other teams don't have much of a chance. Yeah, I mean, I've said I feel like those two guys are like the X factor. Like, obviously,
still focused on the hard point.
Damn, Envoy's just running that. Dude, I love this shit. I love this shit. I've said I think Envoy is the biggest X factor.
Trying to get some sort of a setup over towards
B4. I think him and Dan
are a lot of control when you're going up against this kind of line.
Because like you kind of know what you're going to get from Scrap and Hydra, which I say that and Scrap is 3-9 right now. He's struggling a little bit.
You're up by 30.
Typically, when Envoy is playing well,
every single kill in the feed. And
the
now
Thieves
Boston
are
looking for another break through the front.
Damn near unbeatable.
I mean, this is the #1 rotation-based team in LA on this map throughout Major 4. Their holds have been maybe a little bit subject.
I mean, this is a fantastic start for Envoy. He is
so far in this map, they've been pretty much perfect. Boston trying
this is what we're going to see from him this weekend. I'm really excited.
A slow start, but now starting to heat up a touch on 3 in a row.
Already up by 50. It'd be up by 80 if you can lock down the rest of this time.
Hydra as
go
well,
13
and 7.
We cannot afford that because we're losing those initial gunfights.
Our subs are putting in work right now.
For a hold. The first kill is the most important, and Thieves are just lighting up the kill feed. No one dropping. Hydra again on another streak. The final 15 is going to be theirs, and Boston have a tall ladder to climb to get back in now.
Yeah, the two storylines we're talking about for Boston players are, well, coming into the narrative very quickly here. Cammy, we talked about how he has just struggled versus LA team.
I mean, the entire gameplay so far has been
for Boston and Hardpoint,
literally just watching Envoy and Hydra.
Negative. So Boston just not really getting anything going at the moment. Need to wake up for the second rotation if they want to have a chance.
So far, he's doing this job right. Securing the P2 spawns, dominating that mid-map control. That's a clean 4 dead, but no one hard blocking. Envoy hitting a route. He's at 21 and 9.
Dude, Envoy is just like in flow.
Now they have the numbers
like
for the
everything he is doing is just like
he is just running around.
It just seems like it's the right thing at the right time
to the SMG players. Ghosty has also been great when he's on his lonesome, but this time overwhelmed as now Boston have 30 seconds to fight for. But the big question is not just what happens over this 30. They need to get this next P2 to have a chance to get back in this game.
Without question. But
it would definitely be good to see Scrap
or give them a lot of opportunities for an early break. But these find every single kill in the feed. Cammy, last man standing, finds a double at the right time.
Up about
and that secures
60.
The spawns there for Awakening. So spawns now flip. Boston still
not
down
a terrible
margin,
lead, but also a lead that can go away literally in a hold it. So
Boston have not been a great hold percentage team in the last couple of months. But they have a good line of scrimmage set, but they don't get a read necessarily that the spawns had been so quick around the back. So now they have to try to play recovery. Cammy on 4 in a row, can't quite get his fit. Awakening trying to stay safe inside the hard point. Purge trying to assist, and he's good for one, almost another. But it does give enough space for Wake to get some help from poolside. Still has not been challenged yet inside the hard point.
So far uncontested for the first 20 seconds.
I like that play from Envoy there.
After gunfight, that's already 3 dead. Purge
leave the guy in the point, just completely through their reinforcements there. Purge did just slip the net though.
Just gonna fly their way right back on in, soak up this final time, and get themselves right back into this game. This has been a great hole from Boston.
Yeah, it really has been. Cammy also stepping up just a touchdown, 12 and 15. Nate tags onto a member up top. Chase is on, can't quite find Scrap, and Cammy says, all right, on to the next. That's going to be a play over through vault stairs, trying to get some sort of a setup here. Going Scrap to initial from 2 to 3.
No, we got to go to the comms here. I'm ready to go to the
comms. 100-point mark.
Yeah, we trying to plead.
I think
on the bottom side of our teammate there
maybe towards the end,
on Ghosty, but this
or like the middle of the next set of
Envoy's
rotations, maybe they'll do a listening.
Now Snoop's the only one on this side of the map. All of LA Thieves, they find the break. They bombard their way back over towards top part.
We have spawns again.
Controlling the map again.
Now lots of damage though from Wake. Doesn't have the help to necessarily push all the way forward into the hard point, but he does.
I mean, so far it seems like the Thieves have done a pretty good job when it comes to map control.
Good kills at mid-map for Breach. Awakening trying to do a little bit more over towards this back position at Vans, but a tough look at the gunfight.
I mean, this next hill is
able to respond, and we'll
the most important hill on the map, so
keep it open, but you're also dominating the side of the map.
I don't mind if we don't get a ton of time on this hill, which we're doing a decent job of getting time right now, too.
We're not going to get this time. Someone has to develop on the route, so Purge going to work his way through bottom side of Vault. Teammate's going to get the player off the point, and he's just hoping to sneak on by, but Scrap's not going to get caught slipping. Spawn secured for Thieves. They're set up again.
Yeah, the long route on the bottom side of the map also kept.
I think this hill wins us the game here.
This will be Thieves set up for P4. Boston still struggling to get back over the middle of the map, and Hydra's going to try to play contested
Boston
to that. He's already found one.
Thieves. Sometimes it does feel that way.
Finds the trade, so Boston will get a little bit of a closer spawn at poolside, and the pressure can start
Boston,
to mount over towards the right side of the map.
Boston is a good team. They're just inconsistent, and I think that's their issue.
Fights, but everyone is falling at the wrong time. It's already 3 dead.
Like,
Scrap on
Cammy is a really good player, but he plays good
inconsistently.
And that's a big problem. Same with Wake. Purge is, I feel like, pretty consistent. And then Snoopy has super high peaks. But again, a little inconsistent.
Here to try to get into the side door. Can't be able to find one. Maybe a pinch piece set up. Pinch strike kill feed. Ghosty, last one left. Stays alive, gets the reload, and now the pistol has just got enough help to make sure Awakening cannot find a way in.
That was huge.
So 184 to 104 the count. Heading back over to P1. Boston in control, at least initially, of the setup, but the gunfight wins are not
with a big 30 in the first map. We love to see it.
You are the Thieves. Just play people away a little bit. We'll turn this into just we get a couple kills, then we flood our way in towards the HP. You're up by 80, almost 90. You're finding the trades around the mid-map. Envoy is still dominating here on the opening ball.
Oh, dude,
he
is snapping
between the guns, but the hell time's right. You would take
He's snapping right now.
You will. I mean,
you can tell the comms must be like pristine right now with the way Envoy's reacting to shit.
Work their way back in. Good couple of kills here with 30 seconds to fight for on P1. You can see number 7 Cammy just trying to lock things down over towards P2 to keep the spawn safe.
P4, 98 points for us.
They need to get
none
a full
for Boston.
And then try to win over towards P4, and you can see the graphic.
That's definitely the difference in this map.
Point there. So lots of things need to change here for Boston, but doing a decent job over the top of the remaining times P1.
Yeah, I think you're banking now on the perfect setup at P2 like you had last go around to keep yourself in the game. You have the spawns currently on lock. The AR's holding down the long distance lanes. Awakening finds a big one-on-one, and Purge is now going to get the info onto Envoy as well. So you're set up again here at P2. The initial kill goes your way. The second kill goes your way.
That's kind of crazy that stun hit him. I felt like that stun was pretty far away.
Get straight over the middle of the map, though. Spawns for Boston, still going to be good behind P2. Awakening still searching for Ghosty, who has eluded him. And that's going to be enough now for Envoy to call the Hellstorm and to try to supply some sort of a break attempt here from the front. Ordnance gets called out, Purge will fall. Scrap high to find the kills behind that. Now the spawns start to move around a bit. There's a pinch on the way. Can you hold it to Boston? You absolutely have to, but no. Awakening Cammy both taken out, and Thieves will get past the order point.
Good time here.
Perfect timing there on Envoy to invest the cruise missile.
Really good time here.
Gets a kill with it, forces the spawn out, then just bombards their way back into the P2 with their numbers. They know that this is a very good time if we can walk away with it, and Boston are not going to give this one up for free, but Scrap is able to find the double. Envoy again with a big one-on-one.
Envoy is on one
is going to be theirs, and now running all the way across the map to put yourself in a better spot for P3.
Yeah, all 4 falling right there is just the worst possible situation for Boston, because you're now not going to have a chance to even stop LA from possibly.
I mean, Hydra and Envoy are going to combine for
every second is going to feel like the dagger
70.
Your back and opening kill from Envoy. We'll now have LA again winning mid-map and looking over towards P3.
Yeah, this is what makes it so much more difficult now for Boston, being down by 80. They know that they need to maintain this P4 side of the map and play keep away, but they're just focused on let's just get the hell time. Why not? Scrap on 5 in a row. That's already 3. That last man
see,
right
Scrap just started off a little slow.
So, but spawn situation, big
started off a little slow, but he's waking up.
Off spawn to get 2. So hold on a second. Boston have some situations to work with right here, especially with a follow-up killing off Ghost from the middle of the map. So you look at the last 20 seconds.
This next hill could be
really
huge.
Just comes down to, can you find the kills on the overextension? And so far, Boston are good. It just comes down to now, can Boston hold as we head over to P4?
I thought it was a gunship.
He's in a very crucial position, at least able to find one before falling.
Did I see the video from the venue where Stage shows how loud the team's comms are? Yeah, that was pretty interesting, actually. I don't think they've ever done that before.
Through that right side. ARs need to lock it down.
Yeah, Boston is just completely buttoned up and bunkering down on this hard point. I don't even know if anyone can really even see how many members are hitting over through B Street here. You've got Snoopy down low trying to cover. He's able to find one. Cammy with some support up top will find another.
Not getting any of the
but
kills
LA
here.
are still working their way around over towards Vault Stairs. Cammy going to relinquish the position up high to move down in towards the low ground, and Cammy's now on 7 in a row.
We gotta lock in here.
Miserable start.
We can't
Boston
let this
now
shit
have a
get out of
chance to
hand.
hold, but you do get Envoy around the back, and just comes down to, does he find an opening? No, Perk shuts it down, and Boston are still alive.
This is huge time for Boston.
Gets some P4 time. They put themselves in position to win the rotation. So far, this has been flawless to keep themselves into this game, gain some momentum in this series. Only down by 60 now. Cammy on 7 in a row, cannot earn himself the cruise missile, but Boston gained a lot of momentum after that P4.
That's huge.
And you start to string together kills, though, as you rotate over
win
D1.
in this situation.
Trade is good on the Hydra. Ghosty seen that mid-map, tagged and turned on as Awakening snaps back over to find the kill. Purge, he has earned himself a Hellstorm. 199 to 242. Not a lot of room to breathe with here for Boston. He's going to place a perfect hard point, but they are providing. Hydra able to find two. Awakening there for the trade. 1v1 over the top.
Nice, Dan.
Ghosty finds the win. Any chance for Boston to get here? It's going to have to be by the way of a mad dash, and it doesn't look like anyone's going to get there. Maybe Purge. No,
that was
going to happen. LA take that one.
Oh my God, that 1v1 on the point was huge. Holy shit.
That's just easy right there for LAT. When you're dominating the P4s the way that you did on the first 2 go-arounds. Uncontested, 98 seconds to none.
We needed that.
Ended our second rotation of HBs.
Dan Ghosty icing up when it matters most.
Man. The SMGs causing mayhem. The ARs having a sort of a slow start, but that's where the SMGs were able to pick them up there. It's just LA Thieves are too much to handle sometimes in hard point. Boston start to give themselves a fight with a great P2 hold, finally securing spawns for the P4, but at that point, it's too late.
Yeah, and that's just the kind of power that LA is going to throw at you, especially on a map like Vault that can snowball out of control very quickly. Helps that Envoy goes 38-27. Just behind him is Hydra at 38-29. but the non-traded kill percentage is also kind of standing out with the assists on top.
Yeah, that did get a little scary after that P4.
Team play from LA. Too strong to open
had a
things
solid
up.
hold there.
Got to give some credit though that Cammy and
Hydra and
both
Envoy,
turned the game around.
38
Cammy
apiece.
in particular, able to go 27
Scrap picked up 30 of his own.
I mean,
for the slow start he had, that's a good turnaround.
That's just that slow start that really is the difference maker here.
Yeah, and that's what Vault is. It's like if you're winning a majority of your rotations on the first and also the second rotation of the HPs, you're most likely going to walk away with the W. It was just Boston started getting their guns a little bit hot very late into that game. Cammy started to turn up, found a lot more consistency with the SMG early on, and when he needed to whip out the AR, finally when they had some P4 control, you saw what he was capable of. But Thieves just have too much firepower. The fundamentals are always in play. They are the best rotation team that we've had throughout this entire season, and they continue to show it.
Yeah, really clean stuff. Again, just building on the narratives that were already being established at DreamHack. And that's important. I mean, again, like it feels weird to say, but I mean, that was a month ago, essentially, at this point. So lots of things could change over the course of scrims. You kind of maybe sometimes get in your head if things aren't going as well as they were just at the events, but everything seems to be pretty much baked into the recipe here for LA completely. Now, Boston, like we talked about, is coming into this as nothing to lose.
That P4 was huge
of,
for
the
Boston.
8th seed into a #1 seed that you haven't.
That definitely
before.
made things interesting.
You know, there's a lot to be said about not really losing any muster or really kind of any confidence in a map that looks like that. But now you start talking about map #2. It has to be a win.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to come out and win the Search and Destroy now, because it looks like the only path forward to beat this LA team is through the 2-4-5.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because you know we're 0-4 in this matchup versus them in control. So that's basically going to be a down 0-2 if we lose the Search and Destroy. But the S&D, like you said, is a must-win, man. The only thing that's more difficult now, though, is the form that LA Thieves have found themselves in recently in Search and Destroy. They are 9-1 in their last 10 S&Ds.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those S&Ds are coming from some of the best teams that we have in Search and Destroy in this title. They have just been making easy work of every single person. And the biggest thing as well is that LA Thieves don't have a slow start to this series.
Yeah.
The biggest thing was that map #1. And the fact that they were able to manage, even when the chaos was starting to brew in the middle of that game, they still were able to put the closing bow on.
I'm trying to figure out what picture to use for my tweet.
We can have the conversation now. The LA win at DreamHack over Atlanta, I think, was most impressive because of how they looked in the Search and Destroy in particular. Because I think we were all looking at LA saying, all right, you know, hard points, win your controls, that's your path to victory.
We'll find it.
Kind of the story when they had won their first major in Major 3 in Boca, but that was
now we got an S&D.
I mean, it was a 4-0 beat down onto Vancouver, but I think that impressively, you look at that head-to-head versus Atlanta, a team that we hold in high regard in the Search and Destroy.
The boys been looking good in S&D.
LA, a team we hold in high regard for control, but it really wasn't necessarily those two stories there. And I think that just helps build towards how does LA go 3 in a row like Atlanta had done. So we'll see how things kind of unfold as we take a look at the land records between these two teams. And again, kind of speaking to the point, LA second overall in the Search and Destroy, whereas Boston have not been able to find the same sauce that they do on land.
Yeah, it's tough, man, because when you watch this Boston team, the way that they like to play Search and Destroy is just taking a lot of risks early on.
How we feeling,
chat? We know how aggressive Purge likes to play.
How we feeling about the start?
The island player trying to take
ourselves going into this map 2 here.
Angle to either get early
I'll
information
hit this 2
or
times.
find early information to set the teams with it. And if you're playing against LA Thieves,
their home soon, I'll probably be home
afford to give them that first
like 2:45. Hopefully I can catch map 3. Yeah. Get home safe. And yeah, hopefully you're able to catch more of the series.
Has not been a regular map really for either of these
Feeling
two
great?
teams. You see in the last 5 here for LA. They've only played it once, and that was against Toronto, what feels like an eternity ago.
Need to see a good S&D here.
And that's another story for,
like I said, I feel like this
5. They are 7-0 in their
series
last
is
7
going to
red card
be
attempts. So
kind of like a good...
This again just helps build towards that same story of how unlikely this matchup seems to feel for Boston.
I can't think of the word, but like a good prediction on how the Thieves are going to play this weekend.
Off on the opening attack.
Yeah, Purge is going to be the difference maker for me on the side of Breach.
Team look good, locked in for sure. Yeah.
Usually with the aggression, able to gain early info. Snoopy finds the first one and they instantly get the bomb down. So 9-man advantage. Let's just play our trade.
For Boston, and they have bomb down as well.
Someone's pushing over towards bottom secret. There should be
a 3v4 retake here.
For the second kill
of the round. 2v4 retake.
Down low, Snoopy giving a bit of a battle over.
It's looking like Boston's going to take this
handle it, and now it's just down to Ghosty top side window. And this is one of those good luck at fun threes as he's got absolutely nowhere to go. Quick opening round for Boston.
Yeah, Isabel, Snoopy's gross.
Perfect tone setting round right
Like I said, he has a lot of upside, and when he's on, he is disgusting.
So they don't have top secret. They are not mid and bottom connector. Instantly get the bomb down. It also helps as soon as that bomb gets planted, you find that first blood. So everything after that is just a trade. Boston play it perfect to secure the first round.
Yeah, you see Envoy making a mad dash through Fountain. You know there's someone else up top. There's no way he's making that play by himself. So great awareness on Boston. That little tactical retreat. Finding the first 2 kills and making the round very, very simple.
What the hell was that?
Their timed rebuttal, and it looks like they're going to head the same direction.
Hate seeing the venue this empty. I know. It looks dead in there.
Side of the map that they dominate on. Is their attacks. They find the early first blood, but Snoopy instantly finds a double.
And that's bombed down.
Here's the number advantage in favor of Boston, and they gain that info.
At least we got 1.
3v2, play the trade.
Yeah, I just don't know if they've been able to stay forward far enough to.
Oh, this timing could be insane.
He pushed the door.
Oh my God, Dill.
It slips away.
No way.
Also,
Dill is burned. Did he get a new roller or something?
And that's enough for the body to be recovered, and now take this to a 2v1 where Snoopy would have to ace.
This guy had to have like snorted some G Fuel or something.
Clear out the bottom connector.
He is on one right now.
Site. Just hoping to catch the timing. Potentially, if they go towards B.
He does want that second ring. I think he wants to be the #1 Thieves player of all time, baby. He wants to be the guy who has 2 rings for the Thieves.
Spidey sense tingling, turn, find it, and that's just
he wants to be that guy
up top at mid to get those 2 kills back.
I feel like Envoy always has plays like that, especially in Search and Destroy. You're thinking, okay, man advantage, there's no way in hell we should lose this round. We're all running around together.
Dill wants it
to perfection.
He wants it big
towards
time.
office by finding a double and then getting out of dodge, but Snoopy doesn't spot anything there. They're hugging the walls. It's a beautiful play there from the Thieves to not get the bad timing on their end. Tied 1-1 now.
He gets the right read on it, just cannot quite find that first gunfight.
All right, 1-1.
Snoopy can provide here.
Good bounce back round for the Thieves.
Scuff up just to see how cracked out the movement is. It is one of the most fun POVs in the league, and it's already a first blood. Read on to Scrap, backs away from the fight, doesn't need to overchow, and we're going to get a 4v3 here for Boston, resetting.
What's the play call here? He's going to wrap back over towards Garage side and Scrap. He hears the door break, so he's going to be ready for a couple of these. He's able to find a double, make it a 2v2, and Hydra with 36 HP gains the info as well.
Nade does not connect. Look at Ghosty on the quick wrap.
Kind of like this. I like that they're both playing together here.
Their ground. Kill the noise and try to create a little bit of doubt here for LA in terms of have they backed all the way up? Have they pushed forward? And it looks like the Thieves will re-clear Lambo and get the info they want. Cammy deciding how
we could get really good timing here.
He's actually going to allow Thieves a chance to come back over, but it's supporting Nade.
Never mind. That Nade kind of slowed us down.
Yeah, that's actually such a beautiful Nade there from away.
Wait, I kind of like this.
Now Hydra's not going to waste any time.
I kind of like that.
Cammy able to find the first. Hydra.
Oh, I fucking love that.
I fucking
love that,
Cammy doesn't even bother checking.
Oh my God, I love that play.
I think you're right. You get that little separation with the nade. You're thinking we can reset this on our own terms, but
I
LA
love
just
that.
Immediately counter with the same kind of persistence. Jumping on, hitting the diffuse.
That's a big round right there,
I just don't
that is
understand
a
the play
big
right
round.
there from Awakening. Like, once we get that first blood onto the player on site, we need to put ourselves in position to watch over the bomb.
Yeah, not be back by boat.
Yeah, he was watching on the back
yeah,
side of
Dexter,
tin
that
area.
was icy.
You put yourself towards top office, you have an angle to make sure that the bomb is safe, but Hydra's
That's
not
a big
wasting
brain
time
play
there.
from Hydra.
Sticks the defuse,
That's why he
goes
gets
to
paid the big bucks.
That works out there for LA. Now they're going right into their aggressive play over towards B.
Yeah, and this time Thieves just holding back a little bit after
how does
Boston
Snoopy
plays
get
so
two
aggressively
there?
through fences, but it doesn't stop Snoopy. Another double on the outside. This time
We
the
do
bomb
need him
not
to
being
start getting
carried
first
as a part of
bloods,
that
though,
play,
because
so
that
LA will have
that's
kind of
hurting
try to
a little
work
bit.
around this 2v4 with a bomb
Especially
in hand,
when
but a
that's
lot of work to be done
typically
here
what
trying
he
to even
does.
see a bomb site, let alone plan.
So far, Boston have thrown away 2 rounds now where they have had the man advantage. It's not in a position to either wrap back into the wrong player or just catch really bad timing. But the 4v2, everyone's still roaming around together. Envoy in a position to almost find one. But now it's Scrap left in a 1v4.
There's not a lot of room to go over back towards.
All right, that wasn't the
and
best
Boston
round.
will shut that down. Snoopy, a big difference
Telling you
maker
Snoopy
already.
had to go
At least on the defensive side.
Go to stop this.
Provided the opening first bloods that they needed. He's actually got 3
Snoopy,
of the 4
I mean,
rounds worth of first bloods at this point. That's a nice little.
I don't know how he
up and
gets
over.
2 there.
Feels the advantage
are
for
blessed,
the second.
huh?
Great replay, Cam, and Snoopy is good for the majority of the kills here in this round.
He's just Mr. Out of Fence right now. So for LAT, probably use a couple stuns and nades to potentially put him out of that position. Because he's been a difference maker so far in the 2 defensive rounds for Boston. Tied 2-2 now. Snoopy on a heater.
Yeah, Snoopy's 8-2 right now.
But I mean, gotta play our man advantages a little bit
he's
better.
literally winning them the rounds.
4-0 necessity.
Straight up. A mad dash here over the top of Rock. Defensive nade, stun, both being tossed as the stun had already given information to LA that there was at least some sort of Boston presence over towards Lambo. They don't like the look of that, so now you back up. Cammy, who was on a kind of a solo mission here over towards A, has not seen anything either. So Boston will use that as a chance to jump on and say, okay, no one here, we'll just go ahead and plant.
Bob's gonna get planted for free.
4v4 retake here.
On the side of the Thieves to potentially spot the exit, but everyone rallying over towards Tid's side.
I mean, we're at least not down in numbers.
Sure you clear out top secret. Looks to be cleared out because Scrap's in that position.
Yeah.
But Boston is stalling out a lot of this game clock so far.
Here comes the first play. Nice initiation from Purge.
I guess I spoke too soon.
That gives Boston's post plant a little bit of space to work with over the middle of the map.
Okay,
Scrap
big
does
pick
take
from
down
Scrap.
Snoopy though. Here's the pinch from Purge. Good for one, and the help is good enough for Cammy to just hold on top of the bomb site as he finds the final couple. And that is just a really good, clean re-wrap from Boston. Gets the read that, okay, LA are putting their defensive numbers over towards the top of Rock. We can just go to Cammy's direction where he hasn't seen anything, and it works out beautifully.
Yeah, they did that with so
Boston's
much
playing
well. They didn't waste
pretty
any time
good teamwork-wise here.
Every single player over towards that garage side. By the time they decided to hit that rotation, when they gained that early information, they did not hesitate on the play. They said, okay, there's multiple people on this side. Let's not waste any time on the objective. Let's instantly get it down. When you're able to stall out the first 15 seconds and then be the initiator on the side of Purge to find that first blood, makes it so much easier to hold down your post plant. Boston in the advantage now.
I just love that they're not playing reactive. Still playing their own game. 4 in a row.
I mean, Hydra's 0-4.
3 overall.
We definitely need more out of him on S&D.
Hydra not on the board yet. Not often you say that, especially in Search and Destroy. 2-2 split, though, for Thieves on this offense. Showing force through B. Has Boston leaning that direction. A couple of shots also come out over towards those back canopies, but the bomb is meanwhile making its way towards A, and Snap is found.
Get a first blood and
look how fast Boston are, though. The
doesn't get down, but Scrap gets a trade.
Take care of Envoy. The Scrap in a position to find a trade. 2v2 now with Snoopy at 61 HP. But Awakening is able to keep him alive, and neither one of these players were in a position to instantly contest it, so now you have no idea where they just went.
Yeah, and I like this from Boston. Get out of the low ground, put yourself in position to re-wrap offense.
Ghosty might get picked too.
No, we're going to go over towards 10. And another quick commitment on the objective here for LA. Snoopy, though, gets the gun up quick enough to find Ghosty. Finds the AR, and now it's just down to can they find Hydra, which they do quickly. And a nice 1v2 there.
How many times did we praise Optic for their ability early on in this game?
Is that you?
I don't know what I'm hearing right now.
Boston, they
Who
get the
hell
round
is
win.
watching
I love that initial play
Octane's
call right there
watch
from
party,
the breach.
bruh?
To realize, okay, the only player we had sitting over towards that A site was Camby. He instantly falls, and they know that if that bomb gets down, and then they get themselves in that post-plant setup, it's going to be a lot more difficult to break them down. So they set the tone through bottom connector. Purge is able to stop the bomb plant from going down. And an Awakening makes it a 2v2 and resets on the round for Boston. So now have a hefty 2-lead advantage.
Do you throw something crazy into the mix here for Boston with this lead? Try to catch LA off guard.
Yeah, I don't know what production's doing right now.
Similar setup as the last round. Again, that game plan that they had from the last offense did not go as intended. Cammy was playing a solo mission. They were looking to get some force through B. And this time, there is no resistance. So they're immediately going to push on through it and just hop for a plant. Does LA have a chance to retake or even contest this early? The answer is no. And now you keep your eye a little bit onto Cammy to see what his timing is on this long flank.
He's going to take his sweet time on this late pitch. Because he knows his teammates still have rock control. Yet to be able to find an opening kill.
Here he
First
comes.
strikes for the first, but here comes Gamby on the bench. Lines up the first, lines up the second. It's a 1v3, and that's a quick round there for the Breach to be at game point now.
And that's exactly what the game plan was meant to be in their last offensive round. This time they don't get the read that there are any LA nades. You just immediately jump forward, you trust your numbers. At worst, we have a 3v2. So why not just go ahead and hit for a plant, throw shoulders to the backside of the bomb site, make sure no one challenges through open, and then Cammy can make the route as soon as he knows where the recontest is coming from. Absolutely perfect from Boston.
They're making beautiful plays right now. This is their best
I don't know
what
the Thieves are doing right now. I mean,
there's no hesitation on their play calls. Every
Boston
single
is
time
just,
they're committing on a site,
they're
just
making
like, all right,
everything
let's
work.
get the bomb down. All right, they're here. Instantly
Hydra's
right back and get the bomb down on the other side. No hesitation on their side. That's what allows them to get a game point curve.
Also helps when Hydra is 0-6.
I mean, Boston apparently just did their homework when it comes to Hacienda.
Indeed. We'll see if we can find anything over here towards top side.
Seems like Thieves are kind of just getting like hard countered right now.
4 early though. Boston winning the opening first blood battle convincingly. And Hydra will be sent to the 007 agency as Boston pull off a flawless round in a 6-2 search and destroy.
Yeah, not the best showing for S&D.
That was all teamwork makes the dream work and preparation on the side of Boston Breach. Understanding who you were going to play.
That definitely seemed like they just
what the
were
match
kind of like
most
hard
likely going to
countering
be
the Thieves there
in this matchup. And thankfully, it was your best search and destroy highlighted here on the Hasi for map number 2. Because realistically, they should have won that map 8-0.
Oh,
they
facts.
threw away a 3v2,
Yeah.
they threw away a 4v3, but every single time they went on that offensive side, their play calls were absolutely
Hydra
beautiful.
dropping a donut is not ideal.
You're most likely going to walk away with the round win, but Thieves are just a little bit late to react to things on that map right there.
I agree, and I think there's just a level of, I think in particular, you look at those most recent 2 Boston offenses. It's the same 3-1 split up, and you can see how they mold and adjust depending on what they're receiving from the defense. It never really felt like they allowed LA to do what they wanted to do because, like you mentioned, the quick game calling in the mid-round. You're seeing nades over the top from B. All right, well, let's go back over to Cammy's direction. There's nothing there. All right, we'll plant. We'll let Cammy come back to us. It just works out really beautifully when you have those protocols so well ironed out. So great stuff from Boston. And you got to keep in mind that this comes after a bit of a resurgence after the really, really slow start on Vault. Cammy, Snoopy start to pick things up. They get this to a pretty close map number 1. Does that change the dynamic of the series in your mind?
A little bit, because Cammy didn't struggle in that map number 1. He was here to play. It's just they were playing from the consistent back foot on a map like Vault, where like if you're not getting the spawns, you're most likely going to lose it. But that was a heavy momentum gainer there in that S&D to now, in my mind, make this a very good series.
We're still looking at possibly the 2-4-5 though, because LA is just really good control.
What is it with Thieves players being cursed with the donut?
Not very often you're going to see Hydra drop numbers like
What
that.
is it?
Boston causing problems in search and destroy.
Yeah, big control coming up
at the event. Maven, we all called LA Thieves. Boston's 1-1.
And called that map though.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's just some maps that
unfortunately
like
for
to
us,
play
the
that LA
scoreboard
will
was
allow
not
in this
broken.
series.
Hydra was really just
Boston's map pool works, and
not,
you see it. Snoopy
not
early
doing
on in
the
that search
best.
and destroy, electrifying, just taking Secret away from them, throws the entire dynamic off for the LA Thieves. Works out in the end with a big dub.
Ali, let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game number 2, Search and Destroy. We mentioned Boston. They have a strong map pool. Certain maps can play in their favor.
Yes.
They're able to expose it here against LA Thieves. Do they have more of this in the tank?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about one of the best Search and Destroy from side of Boston Breach, right? 8-4. But on the flip side, it's a top 2 S&D for LA Thieves as well. I just think this was some really good VOD review from the side of Boston Breach.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the caster said it best. It was concise decision making, and obviously Snoopy, Secret, bottom, and top were his playground. They were unable to train him multiple times in those situations, which closes off a lot of the map. I mean, you even saw when I believe it was Envoy or Hydra was trying to hit bottom middle to hit a rewrap over towards that B side.
I want to know what Octane says about that, though.
Instantly caught out by Snoopy, and that's going to throw you off for LA Thieves, who's used to be able to getting through some of these open lanes and causing some chaos.
Yeah, I just think it's just such a great way to set pace on this map early on, right? You take it away, and then we want to do a conventional push over towards fences. We know that they're going to be trying to gain that control back, and once they do, we're just going to finesse our life on the fence. We can get into Barn. You saw Awakening playing his life and just allowing free kills for the rest of his team. That was excellently played and kind of speaks to what we talked about with the extra time you had before champs to prepare, Clint.
And now it's like a little interesting in the sense, okay, like Thieves are heavily favored the control, but like Breach has been 2 forms of control. They've been free, or they had that stretch where they were
stage 3.
A
got
very
ourselves
solid
control up next, though.
Will we get that control? Now listen, this would be a monumental upset.
The
fact
best
is
team
Search and Destroy with a much win for Breach. They need to come away with the dub, but even the map 1
so
was
I
like
really
more
don't see them
than I expected once they got going.
starting to change that now.
Allie, you were talking to me in the green room. You know, you walked past the practice area for the Boston Breach, and there were some interesting things you said about it.
Yeah, Boston didn't get a warm-up heading into this, so it makes the map 1 make a little bit more sense in the sense that, like, Snoopy was not starting off hot, same with Cammy. They were, like, double neg. We're on the flip side of LA Thieves. Obviously, you give them minutes, they're going to take a mile. So when you're coming in cold and you have got Hydra dropping 20 and 20 on your forehead at the midway of the game, and Envoy going on a spree, it's going to be difficult. That's why we saw near the end Boston Breach starting to turn up just a little bit. But again, you got to give hands to LA Thieves. The rotations, the fundamentals were on point during this fall.
hard point, he started off good, but then after that, he slowed down a little.
Look at the rewind, 3-1 if you're Boston on that map. Extremely comfortable when we do get to that game 4, so you can afford a loss here. Like, you're looking at a game 5 if you're Boston.
Listen, the fact is, one team should be feeling a lot of pressure, and one team's not feeling any. I mean, like, Thieves are a favorite for this, a heavy favorite for this tournament. I mean, Breach, like, again, you're, like, blessed to be here. So there are levels to this. I think the fact that you tie up 1-1, like, if the control were to slip away from Thieves, you're feeling it, bro.
Well,
like,
yes, if Thieves lose this control.
Yeah.
Wait, that would be insane. Thieves have not lost the control in this matchup yet.
Yeah, I do not think they're going to lose control here. But if they were to, ooh, this shifts big time.
Let's take a look at some of the Thieves numbers here, because it has been a fun ride to champs for our #1 team on the regular season. They walked away with 2 trophies, and they've done it through the respawn.
Damn.
Search and destroy, not bad as well. Second best in the league at 40 and 22.
I did not realize like our stats for every mode were that good.
That is just a ridiculous success.
That's actually insane.
In this league.
No, control. What's funny is the most dangerous game mode for them. Even though they're disgusting across the board.
42 and 9
like,
is
even when they went up against Boston Breach most recently, it was 3-0 on the Vault control.
Disgusting.
Like, this is a team that is very difficult to take down in the
Why did my camera freeze, bro?
The 8th month of the game. Will they get their 10th loss? It's time to find out. We send it over to Shift and Study.
Yeah, the stats are compelling, to put it plainly. It is hard to find vulnerabilities into the LA Thieves, but teams have surprised them in the past. And I think, again, you look at this if you're Boston, this isn't a map you're scheduling yourself out and saying,
I don't think I've had my cam freeze in a while.
I think you're trying to build your series around
the
control. But if you do start to find some success and you're able to kind of surprise this LA team, take map number 3, wow, that changes the whole dynamic of this entire series.
Oh, yeah, without question. Like, if you're LAT, you're
I know,
thinking,
mid-body adjustment, too. Like, all I did was stretch.
We know that we're playing Vault. We only have 3 losses on the entire
God forbid
season.
a guy stretches every once
We're the best team on defense. So Boston realistically should stand no chance here. But the good thing for Boston is that the
diving
last
into it.
Played, which made it 4 qualifiers, you played this map.
Hit that 2 times.
Realistically, it's going to come down to this
Need ourselves a bounce back
But LAD sometimes get lost in those SMGs. I know Hydra's definitely looking to make.
Damn, best control record in CDL history. 2 more wins than
that
FaZe.
0-7 in that search and destroy here on the control. But if Boston can figure out this side of the map, which their offenses where they do tend to get outplayed by 6 or 7 kills,
Let's go, boys.
then it's anyone's game.
Great start from Dill. 2-piece early. Give me 3.
Stunned, but he was able to find one trade before
trades,
Hydra gets involved, and LA are already putting the pressure on the Boston spawn.
Get him in the blendy.
As a couple of kills come through for the Breach, and Awakening has put some pressure on towards the B zone. Good win versus Envoy. And now all of a sudden, you got a second member here trying to stack this, but there are no
W nade from
and that
Dan.
means nades are going to find value to get them off the zone.
Yeah, that's MTech's hit Awakening right in the forehead. That allows LA Thieves to have an easy approach to shut down that early B pressure. But Boston don't waste any time. They hit the transition over towards A.
Early segment
already locked in. He's just looking for the trades from Cat and double doors. And Camby does not make the right decision on who he wants to shoot, but at least finds one and gives Snoopy a one-on-one to still hold the map.
Second tick of progress looking likely, especially with the follow-up onto Envoy. And now you've got the stack
Snoopy is
for
shooting
all
today,
3
though.
ticks. Gonna be an extra minute on the clock. LA looking to play for some exit elimination.
Always good for a ghosty nade. I mean, as long as it's not a team nade.
Will pretty much suffocate the Breach from being able to find a
you're right.
transition.
We're always good for at least one ghosty nade, but sometimes
on their breakout,
it ends up being a team nade.
And Awakening finding a double on their both ends. Now LAT are just going to take their time. Allow the game clock to keep on ticking down, lock down every single lane.
Boston does cap A
to work the OE.
Only a 1 life advantage for Thieves.
I will say that much.
Actually,
that is something that Thieves have
not an advantage
really
anymore.
On against a lot of teams, especially on this map. The Purge now pushing forward. Couple of kills come through. Hold on a second, a little bit of an Uno reverse card. Now all of a sudden, Boston have a bit of a spawn trap going with pressure with 2 members on the zone. Making 3 stacked up onto B. First tick is done. Second on the way. Purge with another elimination. Top side hard. And how about this for Boston? Looking good for all 3 ticks over towards the B zone. LA trying to get there to contest, but they cannot get there in time. And Boston with a statement to open the ball.
Thieves, let's lock it
right
in.
There
we had a good map
2 times, but they go clean 4 dead. And their first break attempt out of the spawn, they instantly find it. That's unreal, because if you're LA, you're thinking, all right, this is
what is it about Boston?
We got AR, so we're going to lock down the lanes, but
what
is
it about Boston?
Really valuing their life in certain situations. Hydra gets caught on the pinch. That's the worst first kill to have, because now you know our flank is going to be watched. No one's going to be able to work in that angle. So if we win these couple more gunfights to the front side, it's going to be a GG on the round. And Purge is taking so much space with the AR and the SMG in hand. Allowed Boston off the respawn to retake the map control.
Need to lock
realistically dominate that opening offense.
I mean, Boston's playing with that same confidence that we saw when they upset LA long while back on land. Just not backing down whatsoever. Trophy systems in. Hydra immediately onto the point. Envoy for first blood and second.
Envoy, another two-piece
now
to
you got
start
an
off.
opportunity here with a free route for Envoy to get over towards B to get a little bit of progress on both zones at the same time. But once again, Boston, a nice rebuttal, able to get some control over towards Palms and only do 1 tick of progress earned so far onto A.
Here we go, Dan.
Sort of have the numbers to work their way back on in, but big one-on-one secured there from Ghosty and Hydra. Still maintain mid-map control. Ghosty gets the info on the last 2. Second segment
good
already
teamwork
locked.
there. Good teamwork.
Should now be able to extend time early on. And this is not good if you're Boston, because now everyone's coming off the respawn. You got no map control to go with it. The big opening kill that the Awakening gives them another shot.
Yeah, but there's already a double stack on the
Great start to this offense for the Thieves.
Progress just about gone. As Scrap comes off spawn and will join the effort on the point. Hydra, the only one kind of playing forward to deny the defense space to work with.
Ooh, that would have been a dirty two-piece.
So a chance here for Boston trying to get themselves set up, but the first tick already gone, and the kills are not stopping.
Oh, Dan has a streak.
Back onto the zone.
Oh yeah, trophies are down. Got a double stack going. Second segment about to be locked, and now you're just banking on a route that Snoopy can potentially find through the middle of the map. He finds an opening kill. A car bomb is still available there for Awakening, and now that's 3 dead with Ghosty on 6 in a row. Just going to value his life in towards bottom vault. Allow his teammates off the respawn to get closer before he decides to make a play. But he's got a cruise miss as well in the back pocket.
Yeah, he's just looking for information to find out where these Boston defenders have gone. And there we go. That will be the clearance of mid-map. 19 plays 14. Major advantage in the lives for Thieves as they make their way back over towards B. Cammy will fall. He is the only defender near the B point. And with Snoopy also dropping, now it's just down to the last 2 Breach members. Purge over towards the backside of the car. It's going to be surrounded as Hydra's on the chase. And that should be enough to try to keep at least 1 member alive on his own. Third tick of progress looking likely as Hydra turns back around to find the kill. Envoy shuts down the reinforcements over mid-map.
We'll take that.
It's an offense for offensive start here on control.
Thieves get all 6 segments. That one
good bounce back on the offense.
As dominant as Boston's, but they got a lot more from it. You got cruise missiles now going forward in the rest of these rounds.
I mean, back-to-back offensive rounds is kind of surprising.
Boston, realistically, every time they went for it on the defensive side and forced themselves to try to fight their way out of art. Just too many angles. The Thieves decided to take that never gave them a clean push on it.
All in the hand cannon.
Tied up at 1, tied up in the segments. Boston, again, need to have a response.
No, we don't need the boys calling in the wrong streaks anymore.
Another slow start in the
we
map.
We do not need that.
For Cammy, 5 in 11. Continues to be kind of a storyline in the AR battle of this matchup, but really this has been respawns dictated by what we're getting
happened on quality
and what we're getting out of players like Snoopy, who are
my bad, chat. That quality just
really this has been respawns dictated by what we're getting out of Envoy and what we're getting out of players like Snoopy, who are again doing a nice job to keep the tempo for Boston. Purge that one following up as the opening trade is very successful. Boston only has 1 member alive. It's Envoy who is able to stop this Boston spawn. We'll push him out towards pool side. Now here comes the attempt to break for LA. This is a beautiful play there from Envoy. Okay, I don't have another way back on in. So let me play for a spawner and give ourselves the numbers to work our way back towards the 8 point. But once he falls, all of Boston have everything from
not the best of starts.
Now the second segment should be locked in.
Our defenses are not looking great right now. I mean, Scrap is having another rough map, 6 and 10.
He's able to find it. Should find a trade on the Envoy, but again, he finds another massive double. He's made so many big plays in both the respawns so far in this series.
Been the story for a lot of the last couple of really key matches for LA. He may not have the craziest stat line in the world, but the single and double kills that he finds in critical moments have been really pertinent towards LA finding success. And in particular right here, that's enough to stop that second tick of progress before it gets captured and depleted fully. So now Boston
I need Scrap to turn up because I know people are going to give him a ton of shit if he doesn't turn up this event.
2 life advantage with only 35 seconds on the clock here for Thieves.
Can we fucking
now you got
not do that,
over
please?
towards ammo side. He knows that they're going to try to get a read on him, but Cammy's able to win that one-on-one gunfight. Now you can apply pressure over towards B Street. Ghosty's able to find one. Now you might be forced to make the transition back over towards A. Cammy's not able to win the one-on-one.
My internet just
not able to find
shitting the bed.
Now 20 seconds to go. You only got 1 segment. We gotta get it towards A.
Yeah, Purge able to find one over the middle
Can
of the map.
we not, please?
Hopefully stop the clock, and he will by jumping over towards B, re-wrapping back over to A as you have to get the extra 60.
Well, I have it on 1440, but apparently my PC cannot handle that. Like, just play the game.
Now you might be forced to make the transition back over towards A. Cammy's not able to win the one-on-one. Snoopy's not able to find a double.
Shit's gonna
now
drive
20
me
seconds
crazy,
to go.
bro.
You only got 1 segment. We gotta get it.
I can only watch one match today on
stream,
and
that'll be enough for
we're
him
buffering this bad.
hopefully stop the clock, and he will by jumping over towards B.
13v13 here.
Over to A, as you have to get the extra 60. And Purge has lost track of one.
Oh my god, how did Scrap get one?
But what? Shut down, 9.7 on the clock. Even life count.
Big
Keep that
win.
in mind, especially if you get the extra 60 seconds.
Huge.
But LA will keep that clock ticking with those eliminations over the middle. Snoopy has to try to do something heroic. And no, going to be shut down. Envoy just enough of a buffer to stop Boston from getting back over towards
we take a
the
defense.
zone, and LA will take the defense.
Yeah, D's played that a whole lot better on that.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just going to stay on
valuing their lives, not really taking risks, or
that's
just forcing space.
Not worth it.
That they realistically are not going to find a timing on. They're playing their trades around the middle of the map. They'll also make it scatter going back and forth between the points. Got SG always behind enemy lines, so at least find one and keep them on their toes. They only allow 1 second to get away from them there, so now if you're LA, we get 2, we got defense around.
Yeah, let's close this shit out. Let's close it out 3-1 here. Get us to a map 4.
DC can't start to get right back to the mix here for Boston. 3-1 split off here for the Boston defense. Hard focus over towards it. They don't really see. Hopefully break off the tap. Everything's making their way over to the vault to beat. That shut down.
Damn, how far behind were we?
Have to use this as a battleground. Have gotten one. Disco out, not going to be allowed to get any more than that. LA are sent back to respawn.
All map control now in favor of Breach. Love the fact they were able to read that early play coming from LA. Preparation
God,
again,
this
start to show
YouTube
us
shit is ass.
Every single kill in the beat besides Envoy. Another massive double.
There we
Gives
go,
this team an
Envoy.
opportunity off the respawn to get out of their spawn for free.
Making things
Now,
tough.
Hydra, your turn to get a couple spawners.
Yeah. Able to track
Like
down
that?
2 defensive players, and that should be enough for a couple of freebies here for Hydra. Focus for LA is purely on the A zone, and yeah, Hydra will find 2 before being
Not ready
traded.
for the third, but that's all right. He gets 2.
For LA, a little bit more slow than you would think it would be. That allows an opportunity for Cammy to kind of be surprising from the back. Takes down 2, and once again, just keeps the clock moving. 30 seconds of the clock, a little less than that is Scrap. Is able to, like you mentioned, find 2, almost gets the third onto Awakening, but him and Purge do the nice job and keep the clock moving.
Now it's a 1v1. Purge is still in a position with the advantage, but with 100 HP to win that one-on-one gunfight. Now there's only 18 seconds left. LAT, they were banking on potentially closing out the map here, but now you need a couple segments to guarantee yourself defense. You find a double, you're able to hop on the 8 point. That's already 3 dead. Now the stack should be good enough to at least secure 2.
Yeah, Boston really cannot challenge this.
Gonna get 2 ticks
any
here.
Sort of force, so yeah, it's not even just the 2
massive.
segments. It's going to be a 4-man stack for an extra 60
huge.
seconds.
Get an extra
minute
minute at a time here.
Set up exactly how they want to be. Over the top and really around this B point. Snoopy able to find 1, looking on the overextension.
Yeah, I know.
Working on the mid-map control, able to find himself 2, and Boston will grow their life lead to now 6.
Now Cammy trying to value his life in towards ammo. Unfortunately, Envoy spawns right next to you. He was ready for the gunfight. Now you're banking on your AR, so hold down the long distance lane to go 2 for 2 in a split. Now Snoopy on the pinch, gonna find the 3rd player. Thieves.
Bro, I'm on
over
1080.
Water
Come
side,
on.
and they only have 35 seconds left to go.
My internet has been bad
They've got an
recently.
opportunity to potentially keep playing through pool, but
I don't know
the
what's
LA
going
are
on.
trying to get Snoopy out of topside gold, and he is.
My God, that guy's eating.
I'm saying. Trying to finish it off, and we'll eventually get the kill.
Fucking doors, bro.
Snoopy and Hydra, and Snoopy will be able to reset.
Why are doors still in Call of Duty?
Okay, that's enough damage to likely win the round, but like you mentioned,
why are they still in COD?
Has already been felt.
We haven't wanted them for
there is still one more chance here for Thieves to get
we
out
still
the
have a chance here. 4v10.
First, got to get something done through mid-double doors. The car bomb is going to have that player weak, and you're going to allow your team to just fly on in and find that double.
2v9.
It's a 2v8. Purge last man standing, but Boston are going to be able to tie up the game. Just in those final 15 seconds before time gets extended, they would have really loved to not give up those segments, because now they got to go back on the offense for round 5.
Round 5, got to lock in.
We'll have trophy systems to help support this opening offensive break, though.
Got to lock in here.
Do you commit and just try to get the early 60 again over towards A, or do you have something that may move this LA defense around a touch? Because honestly speaking, their first 2 offensive rounds, their breakoffs have not been all that great. They've staved off the LA Thieves spawn trap, but off the break, LA has had an advantage when they played on the defensive side so far.
Yeah, we just got to stay away from Envoy.
We need one of those like crazy play calls that just like puts them in the insta-blender.
Still puts himself in the right position at the right time.
Scrap is 14 and 19. I mean,
everything.
That is not like him.
He's going to take a different approach, work the OE through water side, and have a different angle here at Cat.
Yeah, they're going to go to find Envoy through pool. First 2 kills go to Boston. No trades beyond that until Scrap gets involved at square, but he really can't do too much with that position. So Boston will have an early pause of the clock, looking at the first pick of progress. push out
nice.
Could be met with resistance. Awakening has to make a decision. He tries to commit forward, and in that effort, there's Envoy. Another double for him, and Cammy, the last one left alive, will put a little bit of pressure to keep the clock paused.
They did get the A point.
6 seconds left to go. All of your teammates are coming off the respawn, so just try to give them a little bit more time to make plays happen. Purge on 30 and 18. Really been
huge too from Hydra.
But Hydra this time for yourself to find a double. You have the numbers to put your way back on it. Cammy
nice still.
Absolutely nothing. And now Awakening, last man, fall. Thieves, mid-map control again.
We get a kill teammate.
Does leave an opportunity here for Boston to quickly reapproach the A point. The only question is, can they find Envoy? And he's already found one. A little turnaround, almost gets a second, but goes through there to follow up on the trade. And Boston are only
I like
left.
when Dan pulls up a sub. I feel like he makes a lot of good plays.
Feel all that great, so Cammy will bounce back over towards A.
Nice.
Where once again, Ghost is there to meet him, and LA defensively continue to keep
30 seconds here.
And now you lose 2 initial gunfights. So Snoopy on the pinch has to make something out of nothing. He's able to win on one-on-one. Purge strikes for the second. Cammy off the respawn finds the third. So the stack should be good enough at A to extend the game clock. The only one that you have to worry about is going to be Hydra. He's going to work his way through Cat. Cammy going back and forth on the timing, and I don't know if Hydra's going to be in a position to contest it, or is he? Because he finds one, makes
huge contest from Hydra.
Only 20 seconds now. Boston do not extend the time.
Cammy coming back over to the point, though. There is no depletion of that progress. So it's a 4-life edge, 14 plays 10. Minute 15 on the clock. Envoy on the long route around the back. So a lot of pressure for the Thieves. And just at least straight from the front to give Envoy some time to stave off this play towards B. Here comes the action. Envoy, Hydra, they find the first 3 eliminations.
Huge kills from Envoy here.
Much damage down
now he
on
just
the
needs to be a rat.
Envoy could just value his life over towards ammo side. They're all of Boston spawning towards water. They have to try to work this OE, waste a lot of time on the rat back.
Using our streak.
Yoshi just wants to make sure everything is safe. Everyone is accounted for. They use it strictly off of information. If you can find a kill, even better. With 45 seconds to go, 8v9.
Envoy still behind the
huge
play.
Kills, huge kills.
Kills from the front. Has Boston just essentially flooding through mid-map. And look at how much patience LA is executing on, just allowing this to happen, knowing that they have to work through these AR hard sites. But there's the first 2 kills. Boston now on the point. Scrap's the only one who is here. He'll fall immediately. Envoy is still deep behind this play, but is he in a position to do too much with this? 8v5. Hydra gets the opener. 2 ticks of progress going to come through. Envoy still not part of the play yet. Here comes the 3rd tick of progress. Can Boston find the second match by winning it here? Scrap on the point, good for 2. Pistol out. Trying to find the player top side art, and everything will reset with 18 on the clock.
Purge is finessing. He's able to find a one-on-one gunfight, able to find the second. Now it's a 1v5. Scrap, can you make a Cammy play? No, you cannot.
We're trolling against Boston
take the control versus LA. They haven't been able to do it all season.
What is it against playing Boston,
when it matters the most, they get a gun to go up 2-1 in the series.
Unbelievable.
What the fuck is
and
this?
I have to wonder, what was it that was keeping Envoy so far out of the play? He was stuck over towards goal. That felt like for 45 seconds in that last 3. I don't know if they just didn't realize that after the Hellstorm came in, that Boston was not going to
Dexter, I don't even feel like it's every single team. I feel like it's literally like specific teams. Like Boston, every time.
That play whatsoever.
Every time we play Boston, Boston seems to like figure out how to play COD.
But there just isn't enough help.
Anytime they play somebody else, it's like they don't know what they're doing.
Because if you're Envoy, you're stuck between a really hard decision to make. Because you know you're the only player out of your spawn. You know that Boston know your position over towards ammo.
We need more out of Scrappy.
If you die early on, then Boston have a 4v3.
Your MVP of the year, man. We need that shit.
He was just begging on his teammates to find a little bit of kills off of the respawn, but the only one that was able to find a double and still in the man disadvantage was Scrap. By the time Envoy gets into play, they're simply outnumbered, and Purge, just a magnificent play there to finesse his life in towards out, value his life the way that he did it, and find a multi-kill in the biggest moment for Boston to take the advantage here.
41 and 22 from Purge on top of that. Just casually dominating the best control team in the game here on the world's biggest stage. And it's just, again, like, I have to go back and rewatch it. I just am wondering if this is Envoy just thinking that there's going to be players through street, he doesn't find it. Maybe he's not trusting that all 4 members of Boston are hitting from the front, but regardless of it, in the life disadvantage situation with pressure on the zone, LA just cannot hoop, you know, with what's happening with this hit from the front. Again, Scrap does a decent job, but he was on his lonesome for a lot of those final moments, and you can kind of see it here. Envoy gets a couple, and then it's after this point where he's just kind of stuck behind the play, and eventually gets traded out. Purge able to find the kills they need, and then the flood from the front is just enough to take down Scrap.
It's just insane how much confidence Purge is playing with right now. Because those are plays out of SMGs you don't really want to see taking that much of a risk. But when it works, it's definitely going to show. That's an unreal play out of that young man in his first ever champs on the big stage. Making big time plays versus the best control team in the game. Goes almost positive 20. All of his teammates smiling from cheek to cheek because they know that guy just took over. And now
I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back.
You're feeling fantastic going into this map number 4.
Yeah, 3-1 on it, I believe is the numbers. And a lot of that has come in the last couple of weeks of this regular season. They did start off playing this map at the beginning of the year pretty darn well. Same can be said for LA. They've only dropped the map once, and it was a nail-biter versus Atlanta. But really, again, you just look at this map and you say, we got this. I mean, we've been playing it just as much as LA have really in the last bit of the regular season. And as you look kind of over what happened at Major 2, this is how the upset had happened there. It was by way of both the respawns there. They've also taken down LA on land, or online rather, pardon me, where they won both search and destroys. But I don't know, it just feels like one of those maps that it could go either way. And I think if you are Boston, we talked about the 2-4-5, but map 5 does not feel great going into an LA team that's won 7 of their last 7 on red card search. So I don't know, could happen here.
Well, I'm excited to see this former Boston, man, because we said it before the series started. You want to make LA Thieves uncomfortable. You weren't able to do it in that map number 1. LA were probably thinking, all right, the control is going to be locked down. But since they lose their best game mode on the season, now their backs are against the wall, potentially for another upset versus the squad on the opposite side, rocking green. Boston have all of the momentum on their side. They have been able to add Rewind Hardpoint to the mix. The beginning of stage 4, finding a lot more consistency in their game.
Yeah, Isabel, that's what it feels like.
They don't really bank on their rotations. They most likely are going to bank on their breaking percentage.
Buddy, I'm
but you
low-key crashing out too, but here's what I said. I feel like the second half of
not
this
allow LA to dominate the same way they did on map number 1.
Plays to our favor.
One of the things that we definitely have noticed about Boston when they do find success on this map
as
is
long as we can get the red card S&D,
SMGs. They can play inside of generators.
I think
things of that nature.
We're okay.
But you're right. It has to be, again,
we have
the
to.
Map
Obviously, we have to
pull out a third AR.
We have to.
You have to win those opening gunfights. Can Boston muster a
red
major
card S&D
upset?
is our best search and destroy map.
They can their way over.
If we can get to that,
number 5 as we head into rewind
with that game 5.
Good for Thieves, the first 2 kills.
Oh yeah, you stand no chance. You saw those nades over the top.
Right.
Everyone one shot as soon as they worked their way back into his blast.
Let's put belt ass this map. Doesn't matter how you get the win, it just matters that you get the win.
Early on over towards P2, but now the second attempt here for Boston. All out of
I don't give a shit if we go game 5. If we make the winners round 2, that's all that matters.
And the spawn's flip.
Yeah, Purge
lock
is
in.
Gunning right now. Definitely feels he's got the hot hand. Up and over. Tough to get a read of where exactly LA were contesting from. Cammy can only follow up for 1 trade. Snoopy in the final battle.
There we go,
also
Dan.
falls. So opening hard point will be won by Thieves. Now the focus heads over to the bottom left-hand side of the minimap as we look towards B2.
Boston are finding every kill in the feed so far. A lot of pressure over through Burger's side. 2 players from LA going to spawn across the map. And Boston now have the side of the map that they want. They just don't have themselves in the proper positions.
Ghosty and Hydra just have to delay here.
Hydra
sees 3 in the back.
All out pressure through the backside of Yellow, but Boston are winning the gunfights. 2v2 in the split.
Spawns are still up here for Boston, but the trophy system and Hydra's position is a tough one to wiggle them out from, and that's enough for Awakening to eventually push forward, get the pistol win, and Boston will win the spawns and the opening time largely on to P2. From the front, though, LA quick to recontest. Ghosty in as the challenger, and, well, he's just got really nowhere to go. Snoopy's double has Boston feeling good, at least initially, over to the top of B2.
Locate the last player in Hydra. Now you can get yourself back into the HP to take yourself a little bit of a lead, but now in the final 20 seconds, you need to find these kills and get aggressive through the front side. To potentially flip these behind you, but Envoy just being a nuisance. Again, almost lines up with double, but Thieves is just creating so much space. I'm telling you, he had to have gotten free at that controller or something.
Yeah, looking really solid. That last little play forward, finding as much success as it has. As you mentioned, gives Scrap.
I mean, tie game going into P3 here.
P3.
These next 2 hard points are going to be huge.
Boston are trying to wrap this in through DVD. Envoy for 1, but traded by Snoopy. And now Boston have a chance to actually pinch onto this hard point. Pending they can take care of Hydro, who is just running around and doing what he wants, and that's
there we go.
The pistol whip on Cammy.
Nice, 3 dead.
And everyone falls on the side of Boston besides Snoopy.
Yeah, just need to find Snoopy here.
Back spawns. Hydra knows I'm still trying to locate where the hell he has gone, but
good. We still have spawns. We're soaking time.
Towards Burger. So 30 seconds here at the P3. Thieves are trying to chain the P3 over to the P4. Boston, no, we can't give up this time because we had to try to break through midstream.
Yeah, they're just not finding the kills though. Team nade helps.
We're getting team-nated. We're getting team-nated.
Spawns are still up though for LA. You can see what Boston are trying to do. Hold on to the scrap where you can. Get Cammy to start to work on a route through the middle of the map, but in that moment, LA recover, find every single kill, and that will be a full team wipe and setting up LA perfectly for B4 and Beaver.
Good hold.
Now let's see how
good hold for Thieves.
Right there at P4 because
now we need to do it again here
impact that
on
it has
P4.
on a map like Vault. Very difficult to find angles of approach. You have to work your way in instant gunfight battle angles. And so far, they have yet to win any. Purge finds the trade onto Scrap. Hydra instantly there for the response. Awakening finds one, but it still does not matter. Thieves keep on trading. They're still dominating the map.
Yeah, this is one of those hard points that we talk about when it comes to pulling out more ARs and just having to win those long-range gunfights. Has not worked out really whatsoever here.
No bullshit, identical to Vanguard champs. We won HP, lost SMD, and controlled, and won HP and SMD in game 11. Dude, I dead ass when I went to the bathroom, I was thinking the same thing.
Ghosty gets a shutdown, forces Awakening in, and there's scrap time here for Boston.
I was thinking the same fucking thing. I was like, wait, didn't
we're going over
do this
That's where we like to have fun. Whip out an extra SMG. Consistently play trade. Snoopy on 2 in a row. Spawns already flipped. You have one player trying to contest at the old time, but everyone from Boston going to be trying to set up over towards
my bad. I'm locked in, bro. We need to win this fucking map, man. We need to win this
first
map.
one to try to challenge here for Boston. Stuns and nades for LA, littering the front door as Cammy tries to push his way in. Finds one, but can't quite get the hip fire onto Scrap for a second. Enough for Purge to get a trade. Pinch on the way here from Boston with the off spawn, but it does not get there in time to help Purge on the break. So LA, once again, continue to grow their lead.
Now this is starting to look more like the Thieves. Everybody's kind of doing their part right now.
Gonna be weak. That's already 3 dead. And you're just holding down Chens. Absolutely perfect. Consistently growing the lead. Envoy finds another double. You're already up by 70. Let's just step aside and go to a listening with the squad in red.
Yep.
P2. Where you at, Tucko?
P2, one bullet in blue.
Yo, P2.
P2.
Right side crate. Left side crate. One left side crate. One crate. One more crate. Yo, could be book. Should be blue. He's going mid-door. Hole.
Right side was Purge. Oh, he's hole. He's soda set time.
Triple glass. I'm going single. Let's go glass single. Let's go right side. P2 right now, one shot.
Where'd he
go? On the crate.
Right
side. Oh, my bad, Pac. You got left side. Going single.
Inside.
Outer P2.
Single. Just make time. Just go back. Burger on the play, boys. Go back.
They spawned P2. I hit him 130.
Nice. I'm coming glass 2. Good second.
P2, one bullet Awakening going book.
Come here.
Yeah, It's gonna be book. Awakening.
Book.
John.
He's gonna be soda. Book right now. Nice, soda. Mid-door. Watch out, absolute mid-door. Hold that. 20 burger.
Nice.
First guy streak for new, bro.
Yo, went orange. He went orange. Go fast. Go. I knew. I'm the white car. Yo, 2 here. 1 steep left.
There's 3 here. We spawned out. We fight this one.
On the cop car and 1 white car.
And then
on the white car. White car. It's gonna be 1 shot. 2 graffiti. It looks like 1 shot white car.
Nice.
2018. Graffiti dead. One time in orange. In orange and 1 running at orange door.
Urging. I'm coming to you, Paka.
Yeah.
1 shot orange. 1 bullet orange. I can streak here now.
Yeah. Streak down. Go 20 up. Deep hedge.
From the white truck. Everyone iron up. Get blue and book control. We're gonna go blue. They're gonna be stuck in orange.
I'm coming blue. Whoever's there.
Alright, listen. 2 in orange. 1 guy truck. Yo, 2 in orange. 1 guy jets.
Yeah, focus the guy jets.
1 shot. Orange 1 shot.
Jen set.
Cammy left. Or wait, left.
Orange weak.
They split. Let's get time. All front. All flip. Great 30 here.
Yeah, big 30. Hold it.
Crate. On the crate.
1 shot weak.
And then maybe blue.
Yeah, more. There's one more. On the crate. Gonna be native.
Outer crate Cammy. 1 shot. I missed. 1 shot outer. Well, 2 on time.
Use our gas.
Front vent.
Nice. Let's do this.
Huge nade, though.
Vent weak. Vent in 1 time. Or no, vent.
Nice. Nice. I'm going.
There's one else.
Yeah, that guy's one.
At least 2 of them. No, 2 of them. 100%.
I don't see anything glass. He's in yellow, in yellow.
Good comms too, even the spawn out.
About as polished as it gets. You even hear Ghosty just quarterback in the break attempt where it's going to be when we're calling it the streak. Boston putting together a bit of a comeback effort, but LA continued to find these momentary breaks.
Did we get shit on in control? No, we lost it 2-3.
Boston, they were dominating that second half.
I would say the only round we got shit on was the first round.
But thankfully,
after that, it was
like I said, being the quarterback,
all the way through.
Setting up the play call to not use the cruise missile on the first attempt since they had the numbers advantage, but on the second, which guaranteed themselves at least 30 seconds off for that P2. You're up by 60. You don't have the spawns that you want for the PE4, but who cares? Let's just keep soaking up time.
Might not matter at all. Purge
is a really
good
time.
Break in from the front. Ghosty.
We are going to have to break for next, though.
On the challenge. And immediately step on in. Trophies just to try to support this hold. Again, just dancing with the devil is Ghosty, who's had a great map to this point, but Snoopy does take away 3. Chance now into this big 1v1 over towards New. Cammy with the win. Huge. Spawns are still up for Thieves.
That trade, though? Yep, we love that.
And Boston are being held at 202-132. You've got Scrap still with this with Ghosty. And it's just down to can Thieves win this next wave and likely win the map with that.
Yeah, they just dominated that wave. Everyone, as soon as that new
hill is huge,
spawns right outside towards the 18-wheeler street. Find every single kill in the feed. Close out the game here at P4. You're Boston, you're trying to find an opening for a gunfight, and so far 2 players already falling. Thieves only need 30 more seconds.
Looking solid if it's not going to happen here to happen very soon. Can't be able to find one from the front, throwing shoulders, just trying to work for his team to get on for a break. Damages decent. Ghosty once again doubles up.
Nice, Dan.
Oh my God. 4. Oh, goodness gracious. 30-17, 7 in a row, and Ghosty almost got himself another Hellstorm. A little bit more hardpoint time will get it. Not that they need it. Map will come to an end here momentarily, as there's no way for Boston to touch another great hardpoint.
Let's fucking go, Dan. Let's go, kid. Oh my God.
So far, that has been the story of both HPs in this series.
Come on now, we're still alive.
Thieves just starting off on the right foot, baby. Slaying to the best of them, earning early cruise missiles, but dominating off the rotation. Realizing, okay, we need to put ourselves in this position to dominate the map. They want P4 spawns twice. That's all they need.
Dude, I know. Our KDs were like all the same right there. That's why I was saying, like, this is...
Boston were not able to secure a lot of time with the way that LA Thieves were just contesting or just being nuisances, working so many different angles and truly not allowing Boston to get fully set up. That's just what it looks like when you win a majority of your rotations. ARs start to dominate. SMGs just need to give you a kill here and there, but that was all Dan Ghosty there on map 4.
Yeah, 30-17, 26 non-traded, 218 in the hard point, including 16 objective kills. Map MVP to be sure.
Find it. I know what I'm posting. I know what I'm tweeting.
The follow-up conversation point, which is a map that LA is going to like to see. Red card, search and destroy for map number 5. Their overall season record might not be as great as you would think, but it's just the fact that they've won all 7 of their last 7 attempts, and most of them have been beatdowns on that map.
It's insane.
We got red card, SND for game 5.
Thinking, all right, it's going to be chaos every single time. But they understand on both ends what they need to do. When you take a look back, though, at the game flow, it's just Thieves in full control of the map. When you go from 98 to 147, basically a full 60.
Sorry, Chad, I'm trying to find the picture that I want to use.
To that point again, just dominance
there
from LA.
Using the power hard points to really rack up the time, and more importantly, again, they're just a team that if they do get their hold setups, they're not going to let a lot of time go. So here's a look back over how this series has come together to this point. The big surprise happened in map number 3. Boston taking the round 5 control, giving them a chance at this. But the 2-3-5 LA, not a lot of teams have even looked at that as being an opportunity. That would be what would have to happen here for Boston to get map number 5. But again, the storyline here, as much as Boston have gotten some good reps on it, this has been a map that LA have really utilized to great success in the last handful of times they've played it.
It's just looking at Boston and what they did on map number 2. No hesitation on their play calls. You do that same thing here on map 5, you're going to stand a pretty good chance.
I tee it up, he knocks it out of the park. We're gonna go to a break. When we come back, it's map 5
Holy
for
shit,
what could be
chat.
a huge upset.
I'm stressed, man.
The World
I'm stressed.
Championships in Ontario, Canada. Boston looking to do the unthinkable. We'll see if they can find a way to do it when we come back.
I'm stressing. He pulled a Paco. I mean, he just went nuts right there.
Come on, man. I promise you these guys are fucking up.
I like that energy from Scrap. I like it. I like it. Keep the energy high,
the
baby.
Scuff Call of Duty collection
he wants the
is
ring.
$30
Hell
off
yeah.
this weekend only.
Hell
Visit
yeah,
scuff.co/CDL to upgrade your game with a Scuff.
Another
the
thing
official
too,
controller of the Call of Duty.
You guys haven't watched
the Call of Duty League is brought to you by
LAT
Monster
Vanguard.
Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL.
I want to check it out because
the
another thing to keep
World
in
Cup
mind
is an official
Gold
partner
mentioned,
of the Call of Duty League.
We played Boston round 1. We also had the same map count that we have right now. Thieves were able to win that one. But on top of that, if you think about it, Ghosty got his first championship this year. You know who else got his first championship that year? Draza. That's all I'm saying. Is history able to repeat itself once again? Boy, do I hope so. I'm glad we took map 4, but I'm still crashing out. Yeah, I'm a little nervous for the SND, just because of how our first one looked. But we have red card coming up, and that is our best SND, I feel like, on the season. So we've looked good on that basically against everyone we've played. And I think as long as the Thieves can kind of come out with that fire, I think we have a chance. We did also go back-to-back to win champs that year. I think the only difference with that is this time champs would be a 3-peat. That's probably the biggest difference. But man, I'm stressing because I do feel like it's not getting any easier after this, you know? Like, especially when you have Envoy coming out hot this series. Like, you typically don't see that from him, especially like super consistently. Don't get me wrong, he's had a fantastic year. But playing to the level he did that map 1, that's not typically something that we'll see from him like every single map. So, you know, we have to take advantage of it when it happens. I'm talking kill-wise, because I feel like he always plays smart. It's not really about that.
Not being in respawn.
But man, oh man.
You do personally?
I do too.
I think it would make the viewing experience worse. What did I just see on my screen? Who was that guy? Did you see that? No. What was that guy? I don't know. Welcome to Citizens over there on YouTube. There was some random guy, like, see how they have the quad box? Like, there was some random guy just like in the all 4 boxes, and he looked like he was going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat, be sure to like the stream if you have not already. Lets me know that you guys are enjoying the streams, and it helps push the stream out to more people, so we can get more Thieves fans in here watching the Thieves ideally take down Boston in round 1.
Oh, boys and girls, we've got ourselves a map 5. Won't say it's unexpected.
Appreciate everybody who has liked the stream as well. You guys are.
It's map 5 here, LA, Boston.
You guys are OGs. I appreciate
number
you all.
8 seed. And the most recent back-to-back major champs, and with a lot of expectations about making another grand finals here, are sweating a little bit as we head on into the Search and Destroy. And another fun little champs graphic here for you guys, a little comparison between Snoopy and Envoy, who have both had really good.
I don't typically understand how these graphs work. I'll be
SND
completely honest with you guys.
Masada Snoopy, 1.38. 3.67 KD.
These graphs are a little confusing to me.
Lights out, at least on the map number 2, but Envoy was the difference maker in every single respawn so far. He just finds multi-kill after multi-kill, and is never the guy to worry about what numbers he puts up at the end. He's always playing for the W.
Well, yeah, the S&D KD is a huge difference because fucking Snoopy went insane.
To be in this position with how dominant
Snoopy had 8 kills by round 3.
Control, but now you're testing yourself on your best S&D map.
And I think the thing about this here, if you are Boston, is, let's be honest, like when this game first came out and we were watching Boston on red card, whether it was Hardpoint or Search and Destroy, it was Snoopy and Purge running around.
Bro, it doesn't matter how
so there
good
is a level
the Thieves
of,
are. These guys always stress me out, man. They always stress me out.
For the ARs to provide the support that they need
every
to do
time.
so. Well, this is a David versus Goliath type storyline with the #1 versus the #8.
I mean, I did say I wanted to bang out of the series, and so
how
far,
the series has gone.
You know, that's been the case.
Map 2 is one that really stands out. Boston had
now we
every
just needed to go in our favor.
Word for word. They should have won that search 8-0.
They found basically every single first flood on the map. No hesitation on their play call. But now this is going to be a different beast going up against this LA squad on their best S&D map. They have yet to lose the last 7 times in a row that they have played it.
Here we go.
First floods are going to be a big key factor because Boston
map 5
on the
underway.
side, they're actually dead last at finding first bloods. But what we saw in map #2, if they can be successful in that category, this is a mixy one.
Well, the auditorium has woken up. Let's get it on here for map #5. Opening offensive hit. Starting to build aggressively towards B. Cammy is the only defender here, but he's calling for help. Boston already quickly able to wrap back over, but this is not a commitment here for LA. Just trying to move around Boston as much as they can. Not going in some trouble, and Cammy will have first blood.
I love that. Especially since we're not actually rotating over.
Force them to work.
I figured we would have started moving once we saw 3 people headed to B.
Though, we don't really have the angles that we want to approach in towards the B site. Someone has to edge their way on out. There's a rotation
I don't
over
love
how
slow this is.
Boston read it perfectly. Yeah. Purge finds a second.
Just on a manhunt right now where Boston stacked up together, just trying to run this one down. Hydra traded out.
I think we just played that round way too passive.
Be a 1v3. Has a decent look at Snoopy, but shots are coming from everywhere, and Boston able to take the opening.
Played that round way too passive there. I think they just needed to make a decision there.
To come to them. I love the way that Cammy plays over towards the
Once
B
Envoy
side,
sees 3 people on B, I feel like you just gotta rush A.
LA Thieves to try to put a lot of focus on him, potentially for the first blood, but just stalls out so much time for his teammates to fly right back on in, find that first kill, and they just played their numbers to close out that round. Boston 1-0.
Love the fact, too, that even in that first blood moment, Boston do not get baited out, as LA were trying to catch a couple members on rotation. You heard them breaking glass, trying to fool the Boston defense at touch, but no. Good discipline coming through, good decision-making. It's a team ace for Boston. Everyone finding a kill. Now it's just down to what do you find here in this next offensive attempt, as trophy systems have been earned, and Snoopy not able to get his stun, nor will this nade land to clear off that back player over towards Hedges.
Look how much space. Already taking over to
what, the wall bang?
Was that a wall bang?
That's a dirty-ass wall bang.
You always count on Taco.
That's a dirty-ass wall bang.
Chance time, but now you're going to set up your teammate
blooded,
for the first death. Purge finds another
nobody's
first blood.
there for a trade
Boston
or
had
anything.
the man advantage, but 50 seconds to go. Don't really have an opportunity to hit that rotation back towards A.
It's champs, Jay. We're going to be seeing a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
All the wall bang spots people are finding. I think I saw a Reddit post. Someone
These guys are stressing me out, man.
On the different maps. We'll see. Boston will find entry, though, on to B. Committing for the plant.
Give me a nade kill on site here.
So 3v4 retake is the current ask here for Thieves.
Well,
trophies are down as well.
That's not going to happen now.
Attacks are not going to be very impactful here. Ghosty doesn't have any to work with. It's every single player from Thieves trying to break through the top side.
Scrap does find one.
Okay, good kill from Scrap.
That opens up a little bit of space over towards Ticket's side, but how do you get into this bar position? That's the real question. Ghosty not able to do so. Scrap finds an entry, but nothing beyond that. And Boston will go up early 2-0.
I love these rounds right now out of Breach, just taking their time, allowing Thieves to think that they're taking the map away from them, but then you're running right into the
S&D, like we're just not having teamwork, I feel like.
Quickly up 2-0 in the search and destroy, but we got to take a look at this again.
Notebooks.
He might be hacking. There is no way in hell he should have gained that info onto Cammy. And Cammy's also probably jaw dropped. Like, where the hell am I getting shot from?
For real.
Does not matter, though. Boston 2-0.
Notebooks out, friends. I imagine that's not the last time we'll see that this weekend. But for Thieves, need to find something to work with here early. 3-1 split off. Scrap trying to show some force over towards B. A couple of shots, and he'll back away into the concourse. The rest of Thieves, seeing that there's really not any defensive pressure down low, is just going to take the free stage presence and then likely keep their eyes up towards the windows here as they make their way over.
We really need an offensive round win here.
Can get done. The aggressor over towards the A site.
Wow, love this.
Might have chose the wrong time to do it. It's going to walk right into the pre of Envoy. They already find the second kill onto Cammy. And now awakening Snoopy. Left to try to clutch up on a massive round here. Big Wake's able to find one, but he instantly should get traded.
Gets the trade.
Yeah.
And Snoopy's spot does find himself one elimination. The turn to snap is decent, but not the health pool to survive. Initially, I kind of liked the idea of Awakening and Purge right there and try to show some recontest effort. And they get Hydra down to a bullet, but LA respond beautifully and get their first round on the board.
Yeah, they just switched up the pacing right there. If they would have waited an extra 5 seconds, Purge potentially finds another first blood on the map.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Got some really bad timing, thinking that they were already around that A site.
Who wins?
Give up that position.
I mean, I'm hoping the Thieves do.
Give that first blood to the opposing team.
I'm hoping the Thieves do,
just play their numbers.
but they're definitely stressing me out.
Thieves finally put one on the board.
But maybe this is what they need. They need to have a tough series.
Boston's focus on their next
to overcome. I feel like
over towards mid hedges once again. Snoopy's nades were denied by a trophy system when he played this position last time, and instead, he's just going to kind of hold. They're going to show a little bit more pressure through stage, and then quickly re-wrap back over to B, where Envoy is the only defender inside the site.
Really
just
bad.
Over to the right. I don't know if Purge has heard this. Damage is out, but no kills come through. First 2 kills go to Boston.
That is massive. The fact that no one's going to drop an Envoy in that positioning, and now Hydra knows how to do something out of nothing. 9 HP in a dream. He is dancing with death. But
holy shit, dude.
Disadvantage bomb does get planted.
Boston is just playing together so well.
Yeah, they know Snoopy's here, but they push him back, and maybe now they can take their focus to the 2v2 inside the site. It's just such a tough battle to try to fight from if you're Hydra. Nades do land onto Awakening to the technical corner. Sure,
oh my God, huge win.
Sprays down over towards the second. Now you got help nearby.
Trade.
Wins one, and Snoopy right there to confirm the trade. It got tight. Hydra nearly created an opportunity, but Boston hold on to the numbers.
These slow and steady rounds right now for Boston are the difference makers in this game 5. They're just allowing the plays to come to them. They go for a split setup. The one player.
Yeah, Hoodie, I don't know what it is. They just have like super slow starts.
Side, on that side of the map. And Envoy
super slow starts.
Gets overwhelmed by the amount of players from Boston. Approaching over towards B.
Dude, Envoy just needed one.
3 first bloods for Breach.
He just needed to finish the first kill.
2-round advantage now.
It's just there's also the same level of confidence that Boston were showing on the Hacienda search is starting to come to fruition again on the offensive side here on Red Card, where we're going to show force here that the game plan calls for us to quickly re-wrap back over depending on what we see. And those commitments are working out nicely.
Yeah, I feel like the Thieves are just playing a little too passive.
Defense interested. LA not really creating much noise over towards A. But Boston are just kind of holding their ground, holding their positions, and waiting for the next bit of info.
And again, the preparation on the side of Boston might work out for the first blood because Snoopy knows who's going to be the island player potentially trying to make a late pitch. 50 seconds to go. Your teammates haven't given you any comms. They're being aggressive over towards Hedge.
We got to figure something out here. We got to make a play.
Cammy's going to find first blood. That's on the bomb carrier of Envoy. So now Hydra is going to feel like he has to make some sort of a play. Does he have the timing to get through the door? It's Snoopy in position as the defender here at B, but hasn't seen him. Doesn't see him at all.
Oh my God, he gets
through. In the meantime, Scrap has found a trade onto Cammy.
And Scrap got a pick.
Hydra
That
as
could
an
be huge.
player to just open up this defense completely.
Huge. Okay, huge win.
There, and the bomb can rotate behind this for a free plant at B.
Get that rock down.
Instantly going to get planted as well. Both players from Boston are not in a position to contest it. They're instantly going to try to fight their way back on in. Purge going to slide, puts down shots, sets up Awakening for the kill. 1v2.
Okay, we're good.
But simply going to be outnumbered.
Wow, that timing was insane, bro. Holy shit.
Tremendously great timing there on to Snoopy.
Yeah, Isabel, that was...
him and eventually take care of him.
That was...
And lock down the B side for his team.
A crazy timing round for Paco there.
Especially with that much time on the clock. To be, I'm not going to play for the one guy to get through. I'm here to try to pop up and stop a plant. I'm going to
take Alexa, bro.
But
dude, I'm trying to calm my nerves. I'm trying to calm down here.
The crazy thing is, like, Snoopy was laying down over towards the pillar. He stands up and sees that the door is open.
Yeah,
at that point, he's like,
you get 11 rounds for a reason.
I just don't know where the hell he went. And Hydra just being as quick as
Paco's
he is
5-4 this time too, so much better than his first S&D.
Thieves now only down by 1. Going to be aggressive through B Street. Scrap taking all of mid-map away. They are getting an early read that the play is going to be over towards Hedge.
The thing about this is, do you know how quickly Boston have gotten their way over, not just through Hedge, but onto the bomb site itself? It's going to be a retake from around the back here for LA. You've got Hydra once again on the route. Does Cammy have the spidey sense to know that there's a player just underneath him? Defense for LA needs to start showing its force, though, because Hydra can't find anything yet.
Scrap just puts down shots. to potentially set up Cammy.
Are we serious?
But he gets the read onto Hydra. Purge finds the second. There's only 20 seconds left to go, and Ghosty is trapped in a corner. Boston again, not hesitating on their play calls. Win another offense, and are up by 2 again.
4-2 the count. And I think initially you're looking at the round prior to this. You got first blood. You're thinking we should be on match point 5-1 up.
Oh,
so
dude, we can't fucking
Lights
lose
out
to Boston,
right
man.
now.
I'll say.
We cannot lose to Boston. That timing.
This is a huge round right here.
Ridiculous,
you
bro.
have to have this one if you're LA. Just considering how the patterns have started to unfold.
Like, that's
Boston have had the
wild.
edge in just about every single round to this point, save one where Envoy had a first blood.
Yeah, Envoy, though, has 4 first deaths on his tally. He's been a tremendous playmaker for LA in Search and Destroy. So far has not yet been able to get anything going. Back on the offensive side, you see 2 nades getting invested over the top. Wow. Potentially are going to have the numbers. They're sending it.
Yeah, LA's looking for this 3v2. Hydra is going to run the back for the Purge.
See, I like that. I like the aggression.
Combination with Envoy. Purge. Do they know that he's here? They know that there were 2 members that were there, but do they get prediction on the Purge? Oh, the door gets in the way, and LA will quickly.
See, that's a good round right there. I like that. I like that.
That was just a confidence round right
Scrap
there.
puts in just a little bit of damage.
What the hell are we doing?
Gets
Let's
out.
Just go.
Let's Hydra make the play.
And chow the gunfights. We are simply better than them in that aspect. When they commit as hard as they did with the early information that they gained, they knew that not every single player
team facing losers.
B. So with 2 nades getting invested over to the P5 side,
to be
we
honest,
know that we have the numbers. This is flying in and find our kills. The Thieves make.
But yeah, we don't need that question.
Offense.
We're gonna win.
Now only down
We're
by
gonna
1
close it
round.
out.
And that's huge for the mental game.
We're gonna
as well,
close it
just
out
for what it's worth. Can you do that on defense though? Boston, same 2-2 split we saw from a couple of offenses ago. Stun over the top. This is different. Purge is trying to play a little bit more aggressively towards Ticket, but has an AR, so it can only go so far. Snoopy once again just kind of laying prone towards the staircase, and Thieves are once again showing tempo, showing force, trying to play with a bit of aggression, and they will feel out that no, we cannot go any further than that. No first bloods to you at this point, but an opportunity here for Snoopy, and he finds the first.
The way that Snoopy played this round, he heard so much gunfire all around him, around that hedge area, but he was going to move at the right time to guarantee himself a kill. Boston with 6 first bloods on the map. Purge able to find the second, and that's already round done. The Breach looking for a major upset here in day number 1 of champs. Are now at game point.
5-3 curse.
The back-to-back champions.
That's LA just trying to again.
5-3 curse.
Instill their will upon this Boston team, trying to play with aggression, and Boston's just not having any of it. A team that when this team was built, all of us in the community were like, what? Are we kidding? And then they stick together even through what was a lot of adversity, a lot of criticism, but now a chance to do the unthinkable here at World Championships, the number 8 seed. They have beaten LA before. In fact, in terms of the league overall, they're one of the more successful teams against this Thieves squad. Can they finish it off here?
Just don't let your foot off the gas. Continue to play as consistent, continue to buy your life. Because Thieves know that they have to go for a pacing change. The slow and steady stuff is not working. And last time they were aggressive on the offense, they won the round in 15 seconds. But this time they're going to do it over towards the A side. A couple stunts. They're able to connect for Boston and realize where the play is coming in. It's already 30 seconds wiped off.
And Boston have voluntarily given away the backside of stage, though, looking to once again play this same setup with Awakening and Purge. They tried this the last time. It didn't work as Purge was found. This time it's a different setup. Hydra through mid-map. Takes down Cammy. It puts Boston in a bit of a split situation between the B and the A defense, but they will get together at least somewhat as the bomb is yet to commit.
Look at Snoopy. Look at Snoopy. He was thinking that the play is going to be over towards B. He potentially is going to have a big one-on-one on the cards. Is able to locate Hydra, and that is going to be the series. Young Purge letting the back-to-back champs know you can't mess with me, Boston. Get the upset on day 1.
How the fuck are we losing to Boston, bro?
You cannot come in comatose after a month off. And after an initial start that looked like LA was going to be all business, they can't take the 2-3-5 against Boston.
Bro.
A team that has never won a control versus them. A team that has only found success by way of winning either both hardpoints or both searches, but never a control. And how about that? Boston will send the #1 seed
really
down
just
to the
lost
lower
our
bracket.
2 best game modes over the last
one.
2 tournaments.
The unthinkable
Fucking
has
Boston,
occurred.
bro.
3 to 4 weeks of practice, non-stop grinding.
Fucking serious?
Realizing who you were going up against in round #1, and most likely the entire world was going to count you out. You just locked in, man. They were able to take the control. That was the most important one for me.
It's fucking Boston,
Had conversations with Purge.
It's
said, all right, we got
fucking
bad
Boston.
hard point, but you're still playing against the best hard point team in the game. Their S&D play calls were outstanding, but the fact that they were able to take the control the way that they did, matches slaying on the side of LA, that was the map that decided everything for me. The underdog prevails again.
Unreal. Someone check on Octane. Wow. Boston with the
same here, Frost. Like I don't even know what to say.
And you can see it again. How about the SMGs? 8-3
we just lost
for
our 2 best game modes
Purge.
over the
that
last
really is
2
the big story point for me in this matchup. We talked about how Cammy has struggled versus LA in the past. Is it you need him to step up, or do you need the SMGs to take it a step further? I think we more so got that the SMGs took it a step further in this head-to-head matchup.
Oh yeah, they outclassed him to Search and Destroy. Hydra goes 0-7 on map number 2. Map number 5, Envoy has 4 first steps. The SMGs can clutch up on their one-on-ones. Purge is playing with the utmost confidence. The same thing could be said.
Map 1 was so good. We started off so hot.
That is just unreal.
Horrible
that
S&D.
Is unbelievable that the AC takes down the back-to-back champions in this environment with everything stacked
Can I
against
say though, people are like,
it's champs, anything can happen.
People are talking like
the
Thieves are expected to
early on in this world championship.
It's fucking hard to
the
three-peat.
#1 seed falls. Boston now have a chance to do what they really had not been able to do in the past, which is take a big win like this and turn it into something more.
It's not an easy thing to
three-peat this bracket. When they found out
we're acting like a three-peat is a guarantee,
and then just speedily go back down to the lower bracket. But it's an 18 bracket. Anything can happen at this point. But with that,
and we're not out yet.
Plays, I think,
I'm not saying we're out yet,
but like our post-game reactions ready to go.
Thank you much, Shift and Study. Everybody make some noise for the Boston Breach.
Isabel, I guarantee Boston gets fucking ran by Miami tomorrow. I would bet money on it that Boston gets ran by Miami.
We saw you take this team down
tomorrow.
on land before, so you guys knew you could do it yet again. But coming to this series, going Game 5, man, how does it feel to be able to get this win on a champs main stage against that team?
Yeah, I mean, this feeling's insane. It feels amazing. Just really happy about the team, how we've been playing. I think like a lot of people like didn't believe in us, but we believe in each other. We know we can do it. So just want to keep making this run and just trying to make it happen.
There you go, okay? And you got step 1 done. And you're absolutely right. A lot of people in this venue, a lot of people at home believe in you guys. Yeah. You know, going into that last round of the S&D,
that's
you
it for
guys
me
go
for the
up
weekend.
5-3. You're talking, you know, Purge is saying something to you guys. What were you guys talking about to kind of stay composed?
I'm not just trolling. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, we're not 5-3.
I'm not going to be able to stream
and I'm
this
pretty
weekend.
sure like Evan kept saying like just stay calm, just you know, play our game. Don't get too like anxious. Don't like run like too much.
I'm gonna try and keep
that's
up
what we did. So
with
you did, and you closed
the tweets
out
and things like
series.
that. But
now, even going back in the series, the control.
no
we
streams
heard
for the rest of the
you guys
weekend.
not really getting the control.
I appreciate everybody who tuned in today.
What was the game plan going into control? We saw a lot of
definitely not the outcome we wanted.
I mean, the first round we won a big offense, and then we just kind of like played
losers bracket
too
run.
fast in defense, so they were able
Hopefully
to like,
we have
catch
the
up
best
us,
losers bracket run of all time.
Like Evan just did an insane play on control at the end. One is the
close
map,
out champs.
I think. And yeah, I mean, we're all just.
That's gonna be it for me. Hope you all have a good rest of your weekend.
Icy up here on the stage,
Hopefully we can lock in for the rest of the tournament.
What I want to ask you
Appreciate y'all.
you got a lot
I'll see you guys later.
You, okay?
Peace out, everybody.
How does it feel to be